Welcome back, everybody, to the Houston Texans Madden 21 rebuild franchise. Today's episode is unlike any other in the series. Welcome to a live offseason here in the Texans franchise. This offseason is so big, so critical, I had to treat it differently. We had to make sure this was a live event with all these top 100 picks, all this cap space. And hey, I haven't done a very good job of building a team up in this series, so I could use all of your help. Welcome everyone to the stream today. Hope you're all doing well. Hope everything is working here. I don't normally stream on this channel, but should be pretty simple. I think everything is good to go. Everybody's saying fire Geno. Look, I agree, but I can't do that. That literally cannot be done. I have to be Geno Harris here in the series, and I can't control the Texans without leaving for a year, retiring him, creating a new coach after a full season. So Geno gets to keep going. You know, you can never fire the owner, and we're more so the owner in this case. As much as some of us wish we could fire the owners of our teams. But Geno Harris will still be here as we try to put this together, and today we're doing it differently than we've done in the past. Hashtag hire Gase. Would you guys rather have Adam Gase right now? Can you believe Peyton Manning had one of his best seasons with Adam Gase as the coordinator? Or was Peyton the coordinator? I want to know the truth now. Very, very excited for this. Painting Warhammer and a cane stream. Fantastic. Let's crush this draft. Let's do it. Thank you for the super chat. I gotta go to work, so I can't watch, but here's some money for a lucky off season. Keep up the great content. Thank you for that. Thank you very much. I'm very excited to get this off season underway. I have never had an off season like this. I'm sure a lot of you have done things on your own in franchise where you're trading away everybody and you have all these picks. When it comes to my series, I never feel like that's a necessary step until this past year. If I fail at something for 4 years, we're just going to start over. Simple as that. Deshaun Watson traded. Laramie Tunsil traded. Montez Sweat traded. Brandon Cooks traded. Fletcher Cox was traded. Joe Tooney was traded. Terrell Edmonds. Did I miss anybody? Because we have to start over. And now we have just an unbelievable set of picks for today's offseason. We might use these to trade for players. We might use these to trade up the draft, trade down the draft. But we're looking at 10 top 100 selections. This is unprecedented for my series. Actually, I'm sure we're all tired of the word unprecedented by now. We need to replace it. Someone create a new word to replace unprecedented, because I'm sick of it. I've had a lifetime of that one. I want to go back to things that have a precedent. Uncharted territory, all right? We're doing something new. 2 top 10 picks, and that's just right now. We could trade up. We can make things happen. I'm a lot more excited for the draft than the free agent period, but free agency is still going to be very critical. If you want to fix an offensive line, for instance, and we have a team that's been 32nd in rushing now 2 years in a row, the way Madden is and has been now for the last half decade, you build an offensive line honestly through free agency. Drafting an offensive line takes forever, and you might not even get high development players anyway. It's usually easiest to sign players if they are available. That's the main thing I want to do. Can I go and sign a really good guard, a really good tackle, and start to turn this part of the team around? Because you do not fix an offensive line in Madden in the draft in 1 year. There are a couple offensive linemen in every class usually, that are really, really good starters. And even then, they might not have high development. So there's no guarantee that you spend a high pick on a franchise tackle and they are a franchise tackle. You might end up with a Riley Reef, who's just solid. Low 80s overall for most of his career at normal development. In free agency, I hope to work on this. The draft is where I want to work on everything else. I'm not spending all of our cap space today. I don't intend to. If there's an opportunity that I think I can't pass on, then we will take it. Oh, I saw the super chats flying. Y'all are being way too generous right now. We can still try drafting a lineman, but asking a top draft pick to fix this problem just isn't a good idea. Carr regressed? Oh, whoa, he did. Jabari Carr regressed. Y'all are right. He's not a superstar anymore. I do have it turned on so players' developments can go down, because I think that it makes sense so that players don't just stay on top forever and never get replaced. Also, looking at Jabari Carr's production, is that a superstar caliber player to you, or is it closer to star? Because to me, star makes sense. These aren't superstar numbers. This is solid. This is finish out your rookie deal and go get $10 million a year. You know? He's not Aaron Donald. Think more like Dalvin Tomlinson, who just went to the Minnesota Vikings. I wonder how close the stats are. Solid, not spectacular. That's Jabari Carr. So I think dropping superstar development there was actually a good job by the game. I don't think that he has, like, the impact of a superstar player. I've got to get caught up here on supers. Oh, I also pulled up because I saw the other day, like, the Oklahoma City Thunder. I don't know all the trades they've done. Obviously, they had, like, Russell Westbrook and a lot of other players. There's so much movement in the NBA, and I don't pay that close of attention, so I don't know everything they've done. But we're trying to do the OKC Thunder formula here. They have 3 first-round picks in the upcoming draft. They have 2 first-round picks in the 2022 draft. And they have 4 first-round picks in the 2023 and 3 more in the 2024. Where can I buy OKC Thunder futures? Because they might be really good in like 5 years. My question is, though, like, obviously in the NBA, like, in the NFL even, there's a huge difference in value between, like, a top 5 pick and, like, the 20th pick. Isn't it, like, even more extreme for, like, the way NBA is handled? Because first off, the draft is only 2 rounds. So if you're picking late first round, that's halfway through the draft. That is a ton of picks. And NBA rosters have like 15 players, right? So most of those picks are probably going to be used to move up, I would imagine. You literally cannot spend 35 picks in the NBA in 4 years or whatever it is. You would never be able to fit all those players on rosters unless you want to win the G League title every year. How do I feel about the Vikings offseason so far? I mean, I like the moves on defense, but it's like they're not allocating anything to offense. It's like they haven't learned anything about that over the past 5 years. So I like what they're doing, but in the context of their limited cap space, that's where I start to have a little issue. You guys are just unbelievable right now with the super chats. Thank you. We will be getting into the actual off-season content here shortly. Kane, can you go into coach customization and change Gino's name to something else? Also, check your dead cap from salaries. Yeah, the trading probably did impact our cap space a little bit. Also, I thought what was really funny here, we do have $22 million in cap penalties. What I thought was really funny, though, is because we have all these picks, like right now in the NFL, you'll see teams with like $8 million in cap space. They need to allocate some of that to sign their draft picks. Madden does it for you. Otherwise, a lot of people who aren't that into this stuff would probably ruin the financials of their entire team and they couldn't sign their rookies. We have $26 million set aside because of how many picks we have. Everybody else has less than 10. There's so much rookie value coming into this team. It's unbelievable. Can I change Gino's name? Could I change? I could edit his appearance. We could fire Geno Harris, I think. Ooh. We could change everything. Maybe I won't do it right now, but maybe we do bring in a new coach. Who we thinking? Who we thinking if we make the move here? I never knew you could do this. We thinking like the Mario Waddle or something? I'll probably do that afterwards. Anton Greenberry. New coach, new scheme. Let's just move the team. Like maybe the building is cursed and everything. Boof Cobb, Demario Waddle, Sammy Hawthorne. A lot of good ideas there. We got a lot of people here for this offseason. I wasn't sure how many would show up for this one. But wow, you guys are killing it right now with the support. Howdy Kane, longtime viewer and first time super chatter and live stream participant. Love your content. Off-season goal, release McCoy / McMillan. I don't think I'll be releasing them, but I'm certainly open to upgrades. I don't think that Brendan McMullen is a great tackle, and right now the morale boost is really hitting hard. You ever seen a player in Madden with 24 morale? Like, Madden's almost designed for your morale to stay around 50. We're so bad. You ever seen a -3? I'm supposed to know what I'm doing here, and look at the mess I'm making with this franchise. This is the thing with offensive linemen, though. I think I'd rather have a 77 overall tackle with everything like 75 to 80 and whatnot. Maybe a higher strength, obviously. I think this boomer bust rating set here, it just creates problems. I don't anticipate trading Justin Reed. And right now it's like, all right, you trade players because you can get something. What more do we need right now? We have 10 top 100 picks. And that's just for this year. We've already started accumulating picks for next year. Don't forget we have a first round pick from Detroit a year from now. We have the Saints' second round pick and Dallas's third. Like, we are already good on picks, so I don't feel like I want to trade somebody like Justin Reed. There's more value in keeping him, I feel. Yep, Carr went down to star. The game knocked him down. I have the dev trait decreasing on, so guys like Nick Foles aren't staying X Factors forever. He's probably retired for now, but it just allows, I think, the game to have a better flow of players regressing and then players taking their place as far as caliber goes. Wow, there are so many super chats here. Kane, you are an amazing content creator. His words, not mine. Love every series you've done. Good luck with the off season. Hopefully we can make some changes together. Let's do it. I need your help. That's part of why I'm live. I can't do this on my own. Look what happens. We go 8-8 3 times, 5-11, and then 3-13. Austin, you haven't missed anything. Not a thing yet. You're the best Madden content creator out there. Even inspired me to start my own series. Keep up the fantastic work. Thank you for that super chat. Best of luck to you. Please change Terrence Pearson's number. I will. And candidate's helmet. We will honor Andre Johnson. I will change Pearson's number. Sometimes I forget about that kind of thing. Like as a Viking fan, ever since Moss left, they've given 84 out to like so many players. Michael Jenkins, Bucky Hodges, Cordell Patterson, Herb Smith. Like, they don't retire numbers anymore. I think what's the last number the Vikings retired? Like Corey Stringer? I don't think they've retired a number in a long time. What's wrong with candidate's helmet though? Do we get bad luck here on the draft class stuff? Because I kind of like the helmet. The Rydell Revolution Revo Robot 2. Like, he's gonna keep the... We're definitely gonna have him keep the visor. What's a cool helmet these days? I kind of like the Zenith Epic. Kind of like the pattern of the holes there. There, just for you, the Zenith Epic 2-bar. The helmet is outdated. Yeah, I remember like playing NCAA, very few options. I'm just used to like everything's a Revo speed, you know? Nowadays, you got a lot more options. Before we start, thought on the top 5 picks IRL. So the trades yesterday were super interesting, and I think more and more it's looking like the top of the class this year in the real NFL is going to be like quarterback, and then, you know, what's a team like Carolina going to do at 8? Like, Carolina's in one of the worst spots right now for what they need, because they should be targeting a quarterback, and if they don't move up, they might get the 4th or 5th option if they're lucky. So... And they might not even get Sewell. So, you know, I think Carolina needs to be looking at a move up. I still think we're going to see more trades. Obviously, top 3 are now solidified, but I still think we could see more movement. And then who's the first non-quarterback? I think that's the big question. Is it a tackle? Is it Kyle Pitts or a wide receiver? Really excited to see how the top 5 plays out. This is one of the more intriguing top 5s, I think, in a while. Hey man, huge fan. I have been addicted since the Gophers. Excited to watch the VOD after work. Let's see this team become a Super Bowl contender. I just want to win 10 games first. We'll talk Super Bowl after that. But we have a lot of steps to go. Oh yeah, I don't think Atlanta and Carolina are going to work out a deal together. I do wonder what direction the Falcons go in, because a trade down makes sense for them. But obviously they wouldn't want to help out Carolina finding a quarterback at all. Always loved your content. Keep up the good work. Let's go get some studs now, shall we? That sounds good to me. Geno Harris gets fired as head coach and Cole Hartman replaces him. We're not going to replace him with Cole Hartman. We're going to replace him with somebody, though. What are your biggest needs going into this offseason? Right now, I'd say the biggest needs are offensive line. I mean, we're 32nd in rushing 2 years in a row. So, offensive line. And then I think... I still think we have to find a pass rusher. We don't have anybody yet that's like a top-tier edge rusher. And I appreciate the super chat so much, everybody. I do think, though, to get going with the offseason, I need to, like, set aside some time to catch up every, like, 15 minutes or so. So I'm not going to read everything right now. There are simply too many at the moment. Thank you. That is incredibly generous. I will get to them, but I'm going to have to break it up a little bit, I think. So between like loading screens and stuff, I'll catch up on a couple at a time, I think. But I will read them all, so thank you. The XP sliders are too high. I like where they are right now. And I think as we have more players retiring that were in the base roster, it's going to start playing out a little bit better. So you start to see players actually become high rated that were drafted here in the series. So, you know, we have Cam Cobb here at 98 overall. He was Rookie of the Year, #1 pick, 3 years in. And he's had a couple very productive seasons. If it's a little high, I can tweak it here and there, but I think overall I'm not going to be making any sweeping changes. I'm actually pretty happy when I look at most rosters and I see where the ratings are. And not every team is like super stacked or anything, so I think we have a good blend. All right, so I think the first thing we have to talk about today is a scheme change. I do want to move away from this 3-4 scheme. I want to try something new, and I want to go to a 4-3 defense. I don't know yet if I want to do 4-3 cover 3 or 4-3 under. We're pretty much the same scheme fit percentage for both. As far as the archetypes, there are a couple I'm looking for. I kind of like the 4-3 under because that might give us a few ways to be more creative with one of our outside linebackers. As you notice here, the left outside linebacker archetype is power rusher. We're probably playing a finesse rusher in that role, but I think that'll have some packages there that I want to use. And then slot archetype at corner, field general inside linebacker, I do like that. So I'm kind of thinking the 4-3 under, and then I will find a playbook later. It might end up being the Mike Zimmer one because that's kind of a 4-3 under scheme and I'm familiar with it. And I think this year I might actually look at trying to mess around a little bit with the defensive game planning. I've never done that before, but I would like to at least make some minor tweaks there. And then I don't want to change the offensive playbook a lot because I don't want it to stray too far from what it was. I want to be able to use formation subs. And I think when you start adding a bunch of formations, the formation subs don't really cooperate well with that. So I don't want to just make like a Frankenstein playbook like I would in NCAA. Because with formation subs, you need to be working off of a base. And right now it has our base as the Rams. Because that's, I guess, a better one for simulating. Is it though? We won 3 games this year. So I'll get there when I get there. It's not important right now. But that's one of the things I'm thinking about. So yes, I need to move outside linebackers to defensive end and defensive ends to defensive tackle when it makes sense. We'll have a lot of depth here at D tackle, and that probably means a lot of players are going to end up being cut. But we'll start here and we'll move like Ferris for sure is going to be playing end. Richards I might leave at linebacker and make that decision down the road. But right now I'm kind of making this move because I want to be able to look at the roster and see, okay, we need to do this. Lincoln is probably also going to stay at outside linebacker. He has speed. He has some tackling ability, enough block shedding. I think he can play off ball. So they're probably staying here at right outside. Maybe they move to left outside later on. And the other thing I wanted to look at adding here is probably a power rusher. Notice how I kept kind of liking what I saw from Steven Garvin. He's one of our only power rushers. I feel like I've just not had much luck with the finesse rushers at edge. And the top edge rusher that we might be drafting today is a power rusher. So Ferris here, Thompson will move the D tackle. There's going to be like 8 D tackles. We'll end up making like a bunch of cuts there. I did see the Vikings sign Xavier Woods. I don't know a lot about him. I was checking out his stuff on PFF. It looks like he's solid, not spectacular. given up only a handful of touchdowns in his career, and he's gotten some interceptions. He graded out better the first 3 years of his career than last season. But I was wondering, okay, what's the plan at safety? Now we know. So, for sure, Carr, Borden, McDuffie stay at D-tackle, and they're who we're building around. That's where it might be tough for some of these other players to make the roster. I like Elijah Phillips, so you know I'm probably not going to be cutting him. So, I can't see us adding D-tackles. There's a lot of depth there. As a Cowboys fan, I'll tell you he is not a starting caliber safety. Well, I'll have to dive into some of the Cowboys games on Game Pass and check them out. I've never watched them closely. Yeah, I'll do some of this reorganizing later on. I also want to get an idea of who's a scheme fit right now. So they have Jackson as a scheme fit, Ferris here at end. The tackles, we'd be looking for speed rusher. Okay, that makes sense to me. The corners all fit, which is nice. We get a lot of development there, and that's already a strength. For the offensive line, what are we looking at here? Agile. Okay. And that's if we stay with this vertical zone run. Like, the way I tend to build my running games in Madden, it's not very, like, zone oriented. I like power. I think it works out better in Madden. So it's a little tempting to go with like vertical power run even. Or multiple power run. There's also West Coast power run, which wants an improviser at quarterback. That asks for a route runner at receiver. These other ones are looking for deep threats, physical. So what are we thinking here? Vertical power, deep threats, and power linemen. Pass protectors at tackle, power guards. I mean, that's my philosophy, really. Strong arm quarterback. It also wants a power back, but I feel like you can do whatever you want mostly at running back. Let's go vertical power. I feel like your offensive linemen are too high of an overall to play so bad. Even a high 70, low 80 is starting caliber. I know some of their key ratings are low, but maybe moving them around the line? Yeah, Hunter, I think a lot of it is just the boom or bust nature of some of these ratings. The fact that McMullen has some in the 80s and then a couple in the low 70s and one at 66 right now, like, those are going to be easily exposed, those ratings in particular. So I feel him and McCoy, 2 out of 5 with that kind of rating setup. I mean, it's no wonder we're so inconsistent there. I like Wallace. Wallace super solid here. Bullard, I think, still needs a lot of time. Morale is also not helping. Keep that in mind. Everybody's morale is just trash. Outside of Ben Williamson. But I agree. I thought we would be doing better with the offensive line. It's not that I haven't tried or I've gotten careless. Maybe I just have been focusing on the wrong ratings. And one thing to keep in mind too is nobody here is like a high 80s or even 90s. So, you know, sometimes you sign an average guard and you're like, yes, this is awesome. But what happens when your entire line is average players? I don't think you always end up with an average line. Maybe you do. But I think without anybody to really stand out and add stability, kind of feels like everything's falling apart. If the 49ers gave up 3 firsts to get Mac Jones, I will be very disappointed. Doesn't feel like you need to get to 3 to get him. I want Lance. What they gave up, Mark, I agree, seems more like we want Fields, we want Lance type of move. And I think, like, if you're going to be aggressive for a quarterback in 2021, don't you want somebody with the upside outside the pocket and everything? So Mac Jones to me would be very surprising. But I think that where you start to talk yourself into that idea happening is just like the quarterbacks that Shanahan has had success with, you know. He likes Kirk Cousins a lot. He had some success with Kirk Cousins. And he might still value a lot of those pocket skills over mobility and whatnot. This will be on YouTube later. Yes, you can watch it when it's done as a huge video. I'm also going to edit this down. So if you're like, hey, Kane, I'd rather watch a shorter version of this, you will have that chance. Paulson was always star dev, yes. I'm reading one more super chat. I'll come back to it later. Not going to be able to chat, but good luck. We'll be watching. Thank you, Wheels. I appreciate that. I'll catch up on more of these here in a little bit. But it's time for us to get into the offseason, everybody. That's what you're here for. Hoping to make your Saturday here pretty fun. And the renegotiating here, the re-signing, really not a whole lot to talk about. I am interested in continuing to develop Terrence Pearson as maybe the 4th receiver. I think we'll end up adding somebody here in the offseason today. We just have so many picks. We're bound to add a receiver. We're bound to add a running back. This is probably going to be considered an overpay, but we have the money, and I don't want to go to the open market here. So Terrence Pearson, about 3 a year. Just bring him back in so he can help compete. We're going to let Steve Thompson go. We will look to sign Terrence Mills here. I think I can get him for a minimum deal. Jermaine Ross as a backup linebacker, 23 years old. Run stopping specialist. I think I'll probably let him test. I just think I'll have so many chances to add an off-ball linebacker and then get that cheap 4-year deal potentially. Patrick Carson, maybe a 1-year deal. I'm probably going to be drafting a lineman at some point, so I think a lot of our depth is going to be filled out by our draft picks today. Are my playbooks on Madden shared, Zach? I believe so. If not, I'll get them up there, as long as Madden share is cooperating. I know sometimes it just won't load and it takes a while to work. Yeah, I just don't think I have to sign a lot of players who are already 65 overall. Blankenship, he was solid. Let's not make kicker a huge problem here. And again, thank you for all the super chats, everybody. I'm not getting to all of them right now because I'm way behind. They just came in too quickly, but I will get to all the messages here with time. Caleb Baker, letting go. Jonathan Edison, letting go. Paulson's the tricky one here because I like him. The problem is I need somebody who can block. We have Gordon Norwood, a great receiving tight end, but I need to add somebody who can block. So I think we're just going to let him probably go. Mello Clemens, we'll let go. I'm only going to really be prioritizing one veteran receiver here, and that's going to be Terrence Pearson based off of what I saw over the course of the last couple games. And then Trevor Underwood. Got to know him a little bit. He's testing. All right. We'll let Fullerton and Dillard test, and we're not using our tag unless it's going to be on Blankenship. And it will be. All right. All right, everybody, on to the next stage. What can we do in free agency this year? Let's mix up the music, huh? Kick it back to the Browns rebuild days. All right, we have $50 million, it says, in cap space. A little bit less than we were looking at earlier. I wonder if that's now accounting for our penalties and everything. Okay, it's because of our rookie reserve. We have a lot of cap space, but I think that math would add up there. 55, 50 and a half. Yeah. All right. What can we do with it? The top available free agent is running back Dalvin Cook. I'd like to add a running back again this year. Surprise. But probably not a veteran. I just think that it's a good running back class, and we're probably going to have enough draft capital to pair somebody up with Grubbs. I don't think Golden's been phenomenal here in these couple of seasons. I thought with his ratings he would be better. But I think we'll add somebody. And I'm putting Jeremiah Bradham on the trade block as well. Music's a little too loud. I can drop it a little bit. Some songs are also louder than others. All right, back to free agency. Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, 37-year-old Russell Wilson, Grady Jarrett, Tyron Smith, Robert Penn. All right, a lot of potential good options, and I'm glad that the free agent classes are like this. Things are actually changing for teams around the league. That's good to see. I'm probably going to add a backup quarterback. This class isn't all that great. I'll prioritize that obviously much later, but offensive line's a priority. So there are a few tackle options here. Leslie Good, 84 overall at 26 years old. Joel Bitonio, 82 overall. All right, so not a lot of young offensive line options. It looks like the best would be Leslie Good. Now, is he a good fit for us? All right. A little imbalance here in some of the ratings, but the floor isn't that bad. Run block power at 70. That's probably not ideal, but I focus more on run blocking for the interior. Look at his pass block finesse. Pass block power is also a little bit lower, so he handles the finesse much better. I think I'm very interested in Leslie Good and actually playing him at tackle. Yeah, and that's true. The morale is boosting things, so that run block power, that +2 is already added in, so it's really a 68. There are a couple weaknesses in his game, but it looks like the highs are higher than like McMullen's. 93 pass block finesse. I think he'd be a good option. And someone just said they wanted to see my XP sliders. Here's what I'm rolling with for now. It might change, probably should at least a little bit at some positions, but I have been liking the results the last couple of years, especially for rookie development around the league. By the way, I'm curious. This is nice, being able to go to league history and check this out. So, like, I want to see Jimmy Parra, Washington, Carlos Scott, Cowboys. Let's check them out quick. Let's see where they are. as far as their ratings after winning Rookie of the Year. '83 overall, star dev for Para. I have no idea what he began as, but 903, 6 touchdowns. Okay. And for Dallas, their Rookie of the Year. What was he, a safety? No. Why can't I find him? Carlos Scott, inside linebacker. Okay. Ooh, 73. So he got Rookie of the Year. He must have been a lower pick. 70 tackles, 1 sack. So defensive Rookie of the Year in the NFC was totally up for grabs. He was a first-round pick. He got it. That's surprising. This isn't a ton of production or anything. All right. So we definitely like Leslie Good. I think a 3-year deal sounds perfect. I think we get this around 40 or so. I want this to be good enough so he accepts it after 1 round and this doesn't become a battle with us and other teams. Like 98 is super competitive. So that might be the only move we make along the offensive line. And then back to the defense here and the other options. Now, we could consider something like a linebacker upgrade. Does that make enough difference compared to like Joe Jackson and Khaleke Hudson? We could play Jackson and Hudson at outside linebacker, and then somebody like Kurt Reiner becomes the starting Mike, and then one of our third down linebackers. Is it worth it? Is what I'm asking. A lot of good running backs available. For wide receiver, I think I'm looking for a specific skill set. I'm looking for somebody who just runs circles around people with their routes. And also is still pretty young. Looks like you guys want to go after the linebacker. Is anybody a slot archetype in this game, or is everybody a deep threat or physical? I don't want to sign like guys who will play for a year. Here we go. Dexter Christie, slot archetype. Don't let me down. See, that's solid. Dexter Christie. $83.83. So let's compare that to Pearson quick. $85.77. It's probably not enough of a difference to bring in extra competition for Pearson. If I do so, it might be best to just make it a draft pick. And yeah, the bad release would limit him to like strictly the slot. At safety here, we have a couple options. Marcus Barnett would be somebody to consider. Star Dev, 26 years old. I don't think these ratings are spectacular. I'm not chasing overall rating here with this skill set. Just decent, you know? Solid zone coverage. That's about it. Not a great athlete, only 85 speed. Is 70 tackle good enough? Might be. I think you can do a little bit better. Like Bayard's a lot more well-rounded. You just don't get the coverage standing out at the 90. Trying to be very picky here because I have a lot of good picks. So there's Kurt Reiner at inside linebacker. There's also Lionel Watson at outside linebacker. Is he a pass rusher? He's a run stopper. He does it all. Oh, what's his coverage archetype? 76. See, you shouldn't be a 76 coverage linebacker if your coverage ratings are 58 and 62. It's only because he has high play rec and awareness, honestly. But wait a minute, his finesse and power aren't that good. So he's a strictly just a run-stopping linebacker then. The other archetypes being good. See, to me, this... Maybe rework the formulas for how those are determined. Because there's no way he's a 78 rusher or 77 speed rusher or 76 coverage. Those are literally all his weaknesses. He's a run stopper, that's it. There should be like a 10-point gap between those archetypes. So back to Kurt Reiner. Only 25 years old. 83 play rec, 81 awareness, 75 zone coverage. 96 tackle, 87 block shed. If we want to get this run defense better, I think he's someone to look at. Just curious here with Hudson and Jackson. Just these ratings. So the block shed. So if we go nickel, I think it ends up Kurt Reiner and Joe Jackson. I think Jackson's surpassing Hudson. He closed the gap. I think he's the more intriguing player. And that's fine. Hudson's turning 28 years old. What does he have on his contract? 2 more years. Okay. Yeah, I think Kurt Reiner would be a good target then. One of the best available free agents as well. It might just be like these 2 potential starters and a punter. Like that might just be it. I think I scouted the punters. I wasn't a huge fan. Do we want to sign a veteran? Best here, Sterling Hoffrichter from Syracuse. 93 power, 76 accuracy. Last year we had Daniel Cantu. Is he still on the roster? Because he was not that good. We could consider a longer deal as well for Reiner. That's a good point. He's only 25. Cantu's ratings, 86, 86. Yeah, I think we found out last year 86 power ain't enough. If we go through... This is how in-depth my rebuilds are, alright? We're going through a punter's game logs right now. These numbers don't really stand out as being awful. But for sure, he had so many short punts. I want to look at his ranking this year in the NFL. Was it as bad as I think it was? Because I thought it was really bad. Average yards a punt, he was dead last. So yeah, it is that bad. He was last by 1.5 yards. So I'm sorry, Daniel Cantu, but we are starting over at the punter position. So an average here in the low 50s is what Madden will have as the best. Do we have stats then for... No, so Hoffrichter didn't punt last year. That or it's just not showing his stats, because there's no way this is 32 punters right here. That's like 20. We need a good punter. We're not that good. You know why the Jaguars took a punter above Russell Wilson? Because they knew they were going to suck. They had to have a good punter. Turns out they didn't draft Ray Guy. They just took an okay punter over Russell Wilson. Heath, what is Joe Jackson's rating at strong safety? Interesting question. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. If Jackson were to become a strong safety, which, by the way, he's got the speed to do it, he could play safety. His man coverage, though, if he's manning up on a tight end, like, just give him 6 points. But as far as, like, box safety and, like, a 4-3, I think would be his ideal fit. I bet he fits really well. 80. The game likes him at strong safety. But, I mean, the way he plays the run, you don't want to put him further away from the line of scrimmage. I'll change Pearson's number. I just wish Madden, like, allowed you to retire numbers and whatnot. And accounted for the ones that are retired. Should we give him, like, 78, like a tackle number? We have enough in the teens. $16. All right, so let's go back to Reiner. I do agree, a 5-year contract here makes sense. So how many points is this worth? 99. Five years, 40 million. That's a pretty good offer right there. In my experience, lower rated running back just don't perform well in sims, so you should sign an 85 overall to have a respectable run game. That's always the hard part, Zane, is do you play the veteran for go development, or you just go with all young players? Because, I mean, I've noticed that over the years as well. I don't do well with rookie running backs and whatnot very often. So do you sign a veteran on a 1-year contract to help? With where the team is at, because we're not really in competing mode, it just makes it so much more tempting to try and just play the young guys and develop them as much as possible. I think if I were to sign a veteran, I wouldn't go to the very top here. I think I'd be looking more at Nyheim Hines or Austin Eckler. At least somebody who can catch the football really well. I wouldn't be totally against that. We tried that with Tony Pollard, and he actually underperformed compared to Jeremiah Bradham. Chat says Robert Penn, 25-year-old running back. Ooh, these ratings are nice. And he can catch a football. Is the chat talking me into a running back right now? Robert Penn. I mean, it wouldn't be a 29-year-old veteran. I think I'm doing this. Are we doing this? Like 2 years, 10 million? Might have to go a little more than that. What about like 2 years, 12 million? Robert Penn. He got to 88 off normal dev, which to me says this guy produced. You can't get to 88 with normal dev unless you do something special. And of course, the way Madden's set up here, I can't check his career stats. Why? Why is that? Where's his player card? I don't want to do a super long deal. You might be able to talk me into 3 years, but nothing more. My idea behind the 2-year deal is like, what if Grubbs is the guy? and now Penn's on a longer contract. Because the goal is like Grubbs gets to develop and really gets a lot of opportunities and gets better and would eventually be the number one. You guys keep saying 3. That would line him up with the length of contract with Grubbs. Their deals would end at the same time then. Grubbs does have a long way to go. He's 13 overall points behind Robert Penn. I believe in these ratings. High break tackle, speed, change of direction. He can catch a football. If you're to give a 3-year deal here, and $6 million at running back is not chump change. That's around what Austin Eckler makes. It's also 150% now of what Leonard Fournette makes at $4 million. Did I add on the extra year? No? What happened? 110. So if I go to more years, I might be able to drop the salary a little bit. I'm over 100 points still on a 3-year, $17 million contract. We're under 6 a year. How old is Manny Grubbs? Good question. He is 22. And don't you think with a few years of development, his ratings could look awfully similar? All right, I think that's all I want to do here in round 1. I want to make sure I scouted the punters before I offer to a free agent. And now we know we have to prioritize the power rating. Like, 85 power is actually bad. Even at 85 accuracy, you're still getting 37-yard punts. So here, very calculated. Robert Penn, Kurt Reiner, Leslie Good. Not even going like the Patriots, who signed Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, Matt Judon, Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne. I missed anybody big that they signed? Just 3. 3 moves. 98, 96, 105. Very good offers. Oh, Coach XP. Thank you for that. Free agency influence. We have linebacker. We have O-line. We don't have running back yet. You need to let Grubbs get enough touches so his dev doesn't regress. That is an incredible point, Hunter. I didn't even think about that. At what point would it regress him? This is a new thing in Madden, so I haven't gotten the time to see. But also, he needs to produce if he gets the touches. Like, if I give him 250 touches and he just doesn't do much and he still loses it, like, that's an even worse deal. I think you still gotta earn your way to getting those snaps. We already switched to a 4-3 defense, yes. Alright, so let's just buy the running back influence package. Yeah, Carr did regress, but he's in his like mid-late 20s. Alright. Free agency hasn't always been kind to us in this series. Today we make 3 offers in stage 1. Kurt Reiner accepts, Leslie Good accepts, and so does Robert Penn. 3 for 3, 3 home runs. Nice day here. Love it. So immediately, offensive line gets a little bit better. Leslie Good will play tackle. And then at defense, Kurt Reiner, we have Joe Jackson and Khaleke Hudson. So now the question is, we have Richards and we have Ferris. Do they both play edge still? Or does Richards go off ball? Because now with Hudson, Jackson, and Reiner, only 3 are going to play in this new 4-3 scheme? Don't know yet. Trade Bradham right now. I think now we can make that move. Who has interest in Jeremiah Bradham? I don't think there's going to be a team with green interest. Oh. Just, as always with me, fantastic timing. How good are the Dolphins? What do you need the most? Fullback. Tua's an 85. A.J. Dillon's an 80. You need a running back more than a fullback, I think. You also need an interior of your line. You have needs. How is fullback your #1 need? 102 million cap space as well. You tell me you got 100 million in space and your top need is a fullback. Maybe in 1928. I mean, this is the team that had Larry Zonka, so maybe they're trying to get back to those days. Fullback is your second need. That's a good point. I guess because we don't have one, but still right end ends up being a greater need. All right, continuing on here. I wouldn't mind, you know, I want to give Bradham a shot to play somewhere. So if like I could trade him to a team that has 0 running backs. They don't have any. You can tell I don't control this team. What is going on? Who is Alex Rosenthal? Where are your quarterbacks? Where are your running backs? Who's throwing to Cooper? What is the New England plan? Wait for Tom Brady to come back? All right, guys, I gotta go to the bathroom quick. I'll be back in just a minute here. You talk this over. You tell me what the Patriots' plan is, because I can't figure it out. All right, we back. Whoops. Channel members are not on this channel. What's the plan? Alex Rosenthal and no running backs. Do we help out New England a little bit here? The Orlando Magic just did something very similar to what you did. They traded everyone for picks this week. Now, who all did they trade? I saw they traded their center, Vucevic. Aren't the Magic already pretty bad to begin with, too? They might have a chance to get another Harden, Westbrook, and KD squad with those picks. That's going to be hard to pull off. That's going to be very difficult to pull off, but the only way to do it is with picks, so. Finally was able to catch the live stream, go kill this draft, and if you get a chance, I'd love to know your CPU run block sliders in your Broncos franchise. Harar, if you're still in the chat here, I link in my Broncos series the Operation Sports Mat 10 sliders. I use his to a T outside of CPU run blocking being like 5 more. I just like a little boost for that CPU ground game so they can have a chance to have good games. Thank you for all the super chats. Everybody is trying to catch up. Jacob, thank you again for the big super chat here. Who's your CB1 in this draft? Did Horn's combine affect his ranking for you, or Farley's injuries concerns lately, or is Surtain holding steady? I don't know enough about the players yet. I'm going to be diving into that here probably this weekend and into the next few weeks and figuring out who my favorite players are. The only one I've really seen play a lot is Patrick Surtain, so I really like him, but not sure yet how I'd stack up the other cornerbacks to him right now. But I know that I like his game a lot. He's really big, and I like big corners that can get physical. Especially in today's game, you got to throw off and try to deter quarterbacks from throwing your way, and I think the best way to do that is by being an imposing physical presence. I still think like the Richard Sherman prototype is what the modern cornerback archetype is, depending on scheme, of course. All right, trading with New England. Marco Perez, Josh Oliver. Somebody said blocking tight end. I was curious if the Patriots had one. I think for Bradham, like a 4th or 5th round pick would be the most fair. Like maybe I can get like a 2nd because of his overall. Maybe I can't. But I don't think that's a very fair deal. I think I'd rather have a 2027 pick. If we're trading Bradham, or we can see what they have for players, and maybe we can work something out, and I throw in like a pick, make it happen. Jake Bailey, their punter. Do I trade for a punter? I mean, he's got 96 kick power. What's his contract like? Because that would solve some problems, you know? Just a year. Should we trade for Jake Bailey? And like a future 5. I'll take that trade. There. Trading for a punter. Changing the game. So now that position gets solidified. Trade Bradham and Golden to the Pats. Oh, that would have been an interesting idea. Just give them 2 running backs to play with. Yeah, he gets the good averages here. More kicks inside the 20. I will take that. Thanks, Patriots. Let me save quick. Did who have star dev? Bradham still has star development. That didn't drop, and he hardly played last year. So I'm not sure all the criteria for how players can go down in dev. It happened to Carr. It didn't happen to Bradham. Now there's a lot more room for star dev players than superstar. So there is going to be a difference there. Goodbye, Jeremiah Bradham. I'm sorry it didn't work out. I was hoping it would. All right, here are the big signings from around the league. Dalvin Cook to the Jets. Kamara to the Jaguars. Russell Wilson going to the Rams. Grady Jarrett to the Steelers. I can actually see that one happening one day. like replacing Cam Hayward or something. Tyron Smith to KC, Evan Ingram to the Eagles. Just what Philadelphia needs, more inconsistent pass catching. OJ Howard to Washington, Michael Pierce. There's just so many more interesting moves here. Like, this is what I want my series to have. Players change teams. We got it figured out here. Let's hope Grady to the Steelers never happens. Atlanta's got to start winning or he's going to get frustrated. Grady's probably my second favorite player on that team. I love watching Julio Jones. Just like my favorite players in the league, Julio is definitely one of my favorite receivers. Can anybody guess? Okay, not Justin Jefferson, Thielen, Diggs, Julio, or Will Fuller. Who's the next guy? You don't have to think that hard about who my next favorite. Not who's the best. Well, and throw DeAndre Hopkins in there. After him, who would it be? I still love watching Diggs. His game is just so much fun to watch. He's so good. Devontae. Curtis Samuel. I like Curtis Samuel, but it's not him. Debo. I like Debo. It's not him. There you go, Scott. A couple of you got it. Amari Cooper. I love Amari Cooper. Him and Dak Prescott. That's one of my favorite quarterback-receiver connections. When they traded for Amari Cooper and they went on that run, and I was playing like Cooper every week in fantasy. I mean, that was when I had my hottest fantasy streak too. So that's probably a part of it. Amari Cooper made me some money. But I love watching Amari Cooper, man. I'm not an Alabama fan, no. No, I'm a Gopher fan. Minnesota beat Alabama in a bowl game like 20 years ago. There's still more quarterbacks available, right? Like, what are the Patriots doing? Are they in on any of these quarterbacks? You know there's only one draftable quarterback in this class, right? I don't know what these teams are going to do. Like, there's a bid here on Jarrett Stidham. Is New England even going to add a quarterback until preseason? Adrian Peterson still looks like he'll bust a 70-yard run whenever he gets the ball. He doesn't have that, like, elite speed anymore. You can still tell, like, he's still got, you know, enough ability to keep playing for a few years. Like, if he could catch the football a little bit better, like, I easily think he could play another, like, 5-6 years. But, you know, he's not a guy you're going to give a lot of carries to. But when he does get the ball, like, you still see a little bit of his game. I agree. You still think there's a potential for him to break one. They have an offer to Clayton Stallworth. 58 overall. Is that your starting quarterback, though? I've missed a lot of super chats. I'm trying to catch up on them every few minutes, getting to a couple more. How do you plan on getting enough play time for this many picks? Sharing time isn't usually ideal for rookies, so how do you plan on maximizing things? Kyle, where I think that comes into play is moving up for guys who can start and not just leaving the picks all where they are. I think that there is no way there's enough room for like 7 rookies to all of a sudden get playing time, but maybe 4 or something. So I think there's going to be a lot of trading up. And then after that, the plan is, okay, contingency plans for post Justin Reed and guys who are in their later 20s. That's where the next wave of picks should be going. Thoughts on the Dolphins trades yesterday? I think it works for them. I really think the Dolphins are doing everything right. That was interesting. They go all the way down to 12 and then jump back up to 6. So they could still go for one of the top receivers or a tackle. I think they'll end up taking a receiver probably. And, you know, RIP Will Fuller's fantasy value this year when that happens. But I think they're doing a pretty good job. Yeah, they still have a lot of picks to spend. I like what Brian Flores is doing there. They're a 10-win team out of the playoffs in a 7-playoff team year. Kind of strange. But I think it's all going to depend on if Tua plays better. Because I think we all had higher expectations at Tua as a rookie. And I think now it's becoming more normal to expect a lot from rookie quarterbacks. So when one doesn't even play okay or show like that elite potential or something, we're like, all right, there's a problem here. And we jump to these conclusions pretty quickly. Don't want to throw in the towel on Tua. I really liked him. And regardless, he still has to play a lot better this coming season. I think Fuller signing with the Dolphins was a bad move for him trying to reset his market and make a big splash next year. I don't think that was the right move for him. I think for the Dolphins, yes, Fuller's a good player to have, but for Fuller, the Dolphins are a bad team to be on. Because what is he going to do this year? Like, if you're to project Will Fuller's stats right now, I'd say like 700 yards and 4 touchdowns. And that's just not going to get you $15 million a year. I don't see him being a big producer in that offense. Bronson Rechsteiner. Do we finally bring in a fullback? We're doing it. 1 year. Maybe increase this a little bit. Could he block? Can he play blocking tight end? Oh, his blocking isn't that good, actually. He's basically a running back. But yeah, blocking tight end, we didn't talk much about that. I'm not sure we're finding anybody better for that role than Nick Boyle. He is 33. This would be a good 1-year solution. Does not change anything regarding the draft, though. So yeah, I'll probably pull the offer here for Rechsteiner because he doesn't have the blocking. He should probably just move to running back here, don't you think? 88 speed, 86 strength. He probably wouldn't be a bad running back to have on the team, though. So now I'm putting my offer back out there. Just a fun power back, maybe. I would move his position. The other thing is, are there any tackles that could just move the tight end, like George Fant? Forget the blocking tight end, just make a tackle play there. You're already asking the tight end to block, just get a real tackle. 6-man line. Alright, let's check out this draft now. We haven't even gotten to the draft prospects yet. So the quarterback, his projection changed. All of this changed. He was a mid-first round. You remember that? And now he's early with speed. Oh. I wasn't counting on that. Eagles pick number 1. Who is their quarterback? Would they be taking him, you think? Is face cam in the way on this side? Is it better over here for checking combine stuff? Yeah, you can't even see combine grades for low players there. So let me transform this. So I'm still looking at the gameplay. So now we have to know if like Philadelphia would want him, because suddenly now it looks like he has the skill set that we're looking for. They'd probably take him at number 1. I'm not trading with them either. Same philosophy as I had with the Jesse Heikkinen situation in my Broncos series. If they want him, they can have him, because just the realism aspect of it, and if they wanted him, they wouldn't be willing to trade with me in the first place. They might take him, they might not, but I will not be trading up to number 1. There's no way the Jets are getting up to number 1 to get Trevor Lawrence. But yeah, Wheeler actually looks interesting now because his talent changed. It literally wasn't this earlier. All right, Jacob Castillo has late round 1 talent. I thought it was mid. Ricky Redmond, that's a really good combine. David Cameron, late 1. I'm taking notes here if I need to. Andrew Combs is still early first. 4.38 speed. I wouldn't be against like drafting somebody like him and then moving Justin Reed to strong safety even. If Wheeler is there, take him and trade Love to the Pats. Could consider that. Tevin Tyson, early round 1. His projection, I think, changed. Possibly. Late 1. Anything change at receiver? Danny Short, 4.35. Pierre Ross, early round 1 running back. Allen Beverly. The combine is good. It's really good. But he wasn't top in like multiple drills. Lionel McLeod, 6'3". There's George Jones at receiver. There's Dalvin Everett. He's a mid-round 1 talent. What I like about Beverly, though, is he has the power rushing as opposed to finesse. And he does all that stuff at 270 pounds. Like a 4'6", 40 at 270 versus 250 is more impressive. Kane, with the 49ers reaching up in the draft, who do you think they'll draft? I'm still thinking it's either Fields or Lance. I'm not buying in totally to the Mac Jones hype yet, just because I don't think if they wanted him that bad, they'd go all the way up to 3. They gave up so much. And is that enough of an upgrade over Jimmy G to make the move with all those picks? That's pretty aggressive. Robert says hire Harley Jean Charles. He's got his hands full with the Falcons right now. Long-time viewer, first-time live stream viewer. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Sawyer. I think you should hire former Oilers and Vikings quarterback Warren Moon as coach. Oh, there's an idea. Probably keep it in the universe, though. I like to always bring over players and stuff because just kind of fun to see how that all meshes together after some time. And if you missed it earlier, I can edit our coach. Because I can't fire him, we're just going to play around and we're going to edit his name and appearance and everything and make it as if we had fired Geno Harris. Although it's still going to keep his stats and everything. Hey Kane, IRL Texans fan, looking forward to this stream. Please change Pearson's number. I did change that. Thank you, John, for the super chat. First things first, Kane, let's get that defense set to a 4-3 and get those linebackers set to end. Maybe move Hudson outside. We've already done that, Jonathan. I know I'm reading like old super chats, so these were a little more timely a couple hours ago. Since it's off-season time, who is the biggest bust of the Kane universe? Good luck with the big day today. That'd have to be Adam Kane. That was just a disaster of a situation. Set us back a while in that Broncos franchise. Wasted a lot of time on bad quarterbacks in that series. Again, here are the quarterbacks in this class. I don't know if I'll do a lot more scouting. Maybe on a couple. I did find running backs that I liked, but now adding Robert Penn, I don't think that it's going to be likely for us to draft somebody early. I think now we have 2 running backs to keep building around with this running game. A receiver is definitely going to be in play, and there are a number of options. And we're just going to keep adding to those options, it appears. I've even been scouting like undrafted slot receivers because I'm trying to find like the right route runner. And it's just not as common of an archetype in this game to have really good ratings for some reason. I'm going to scout Daniel Clifford here. He's got the 40 time, the shuttle, and 3-cone top 10. Yeah, buddy, right there. I also wanted to scout tight ends and try to find somebody who had a really high bench. Like, I don't care what your talent grade is. I'm looking for a specific skill set here. But usually blocking tight ends actually have better ratings. Those run blocking traits end up moving their overall up significantly. Dante Hairston here. He's got the receiving skills and he's 5th in bench. He's going to be in play. Dante Hairston at tight end. Writing him down. All right, Stephen Douglas, even faster, better reps. Also in play, later pick. A- catching. Still 7th round talent. So, you know, the overalls are going to be pretty low on these players. Early 2nd, Russ Watson. We are finding a blocking tight end this year. I think we definitely have enough options here going forward. And I'm glad we were able to sign Leslie Good at tackle, because this class is not very talented. But now I can go ahead and look at maybe, okay, we draft somebody to develop as a backup. Kincaid, Beckham, that's fine. It's just a bad game to try and upgrade O-line through the draft all the time. And developing offensive linemen is incredibly difficult. They don't develop much on the bench. I feel really good about our draft coming up. What if you have Paulson to fullback because you'll have enough tight ends? He's still not a great blocker, and we don't even use our fullbacks that often. And also, I think he's on a new team now. Calvin Paulson was a free agent. We did not get Nick Boyle. We did get Bronson Rechsteiner. We'll see if he makes the team and what that situation's all about. Yeah, looks like he did get signed. CPU teams like that higher dev. So he's now on the Saints. I wonder what Rex Steiner's ratings at running back are. He's a 76 fullback with like 0 blocking ability. This is just like bench power back move here. Not a serious, super serious role. 60 overall. So there are some holes in his game then. Oh yeah, break tackle isn't even that good. Yeah, not sure if he makes the team. Especially with Trayvon Moore. I should probably just keep Trayvon Moore in that role. If Rex Steiner makes the team, are you going to nickname him Big Papa Pump? Probably. Isn't he the like nephew of Scott Steiner? If that was a waste, it was like $1 million, which for a football team is very little. All right, 5th year options. Who is it this year? Does Jordan Love have scrambling archetype? Otherwise, he won't scramble when pressure comes up. No, we've watched games. He definitely scrambles. I have no idea what his actual archetype is. Has him at strong arm here, balanced style, and we've seen him take off. I actually really like the way he plays. Doesn't take a lot of sacks either. We watched this game where he was under a ton of pressure and only took 2 sacks. Of course, he does throw the football away a lot of times when pressure's there. 3 sacks in this game we watched. 3 sacks in this game we watched. So it never became a serious issue. All right, so this year, Amari Jones, we picked that up. Yes. And it's just Amari this year. So his cap number next year will spike. It's the equivalent to like baseball's arbitration year almost. You get like, after your really tiny salaries, the arbitration years are a little bit better. So he's gonna make some pretty good money in 2027. And hopefully by then he's playing at an even higher level and we can talk about a long-term deal. Interesting here though, I wanted to check this out. He had 2 100-yard games, 3 over 90, and 6 over 80. So in the context of just big games, I felt like candidates had a lot more than him. Candidates had 3 games over 100, 2 over 90. So Jones ended up with 6 over 80. Candidates has 5 over 80, but more over 100. So if you had to bet on any receiver on any given game to give you 60, you go with Amari Jones. If you want 100, you're probably counting on candidate getting you there. They do complement each other well. I like having different skill sets at receiver. Like, I never thought that having Cooks and Fuller together was ever ideal. And that's why now we have, like, the physical receiver, the deep threat. Now I want the route runner. And just cover all the bases there. And notice here, I've done such little scouting for the later rounds. I don't really plan on making those late picks. This is unbelievable, just the picks we have here. Adam Kane should be the new head coach. Oh, we're not doing that. We're not bringing back Adam Kane. Thank you, Carlos, for the super chat. McMullen is too high of an overall to be so bad. Find his position. I think it's at guard. Certain matchups, though, are going to be a problem for him. Jamie sent a super chat earlier. Kane, what I miss? And definitely change the playbooks. The sim is heavily based on playbooks. I will be trying to find the right playbooks there for the next season. I'll do that afterwards. Hey, Kane, hope you're doing well. Chicago's offensive playbook is a great sim playbook. And also, did you see Rondale Moore's Pro Day? What do you think of his NFL prospects? Boiler up. I didn't watch like his Pro Day stuff. I know that, like, you know, his vert was unbelievable. His speed is off the charts. I think that he's gonna go really early. I think especially teams see like what's happened with Tyreek Hill and what you can do when those type of athletes are used the right way. So I think he's gonna go super early. I just hope it's not to a team where it's like, hey, we have nothing, we're building around you. That never works. It'd be the same thing as Tavon Austin going to the Rams. Granted, Austin ended up not being that great of a receiver, but you just don't start building an offense around like a gadget playmaker. Even if they're like a good solid route runner as well, like that's just not where you start with an offense, and I don't want to see him go to a bad team. Are your playbooks on Madden share? I'm not sure. I'll check that later. Kane, thank you for making top quality content on both of your channels. Been a fan for a long time. Go Birds. Thank you, Dylan. Like your content, Kane, even though your Vikings are a rival to my Packers and you can play the run in a 3-4 in Madden with a stout nose tackle and one stud linebacker. Yeah, it might be easier like if we kept it 3-4 with Reiner, but we're gonna go 4-3 now so I can play all the linebackers and just kind of go from there. See if the scheme change is positive, because whatever we've tried here just hasn't worked that much. Oh, I need to ban somebody here. I probably should have like Nightbot or something set up over here. I don't stream a lot on this channel, so I don't like have moderators and stuff set up. Thank you guys. Drumming Guitarist sent a super chat, no message. I appreciate that very much. Not that you didn't put a message, but the super chat itself I appreciate. Please change all of the O-line numbers that are 50s. What's wrong with the 50s? You want some 60s in there? Might mix it up. Keep the 50s available for pass rushers and linebackers. If Wheeler is there, take him and trade Love to the Pats. I think I read that one from Robert earlier. New Texans head coach, Big Papa Patrick Papagiannopoulos. So I'm not even sure the character limit there would allow for him to be the coach. And I think I'm now caught up. Thank you for all the super chats, everybody. It's been a fun stream already, and we haven't even gotten to the draft. We haven't even drafted yet. I know y'all want to get there, so we're going to work towards that now. What else do we scout, though? I think we have a good feel for this draft and how to attack. Trade up. We definitely want to add a receiver. William Lindsley, head coach. Don't draft Wheeler, draft a safety. I think Lindsley would be a cool head coach. The star backup quarterback. Probably my favorite backup quarterback I've ever had. William Lindsley. Whoa, Gary! I think you might have hit too many zeros there, man. Thank you for the super chat. Please draft a new tight end. Well, we can certainly afford to sign him after that. My goodness, Gary, that is unbelievable. Thank you for the super chat. You guys are way too generous today. I think we will draft a tight end. I really like some of the options here. Wait, didn't it say earlier Watson was a second round talent? Am I remembering incorrectly? Was he not a second round talent? Because I thought he and Hairston both were. He was a second. Why is it changing? He was early second? That's weird. Maybe he's tied. Maybe it's like a tie. And so it's just picking one at random. Like, why else would it be changing? Oh well. I might even just start scouting some of these other quarterbacks. Is there a potential backup? Well, I'm out of points. Speaking of, I still haven't signed a backup quarterback. I don't know yet if I'll need one. So I think I'll wait. Because I don't know yet if I'm drafting a quarterback. Because now we have potentially a very good option that might be there at 2. Is there a fullback to scout? All right, you have my attention. There's Logan McDonald. What do we got for speeds here? 4.93. We can do better than that. 5 seconds. 4.8 is number 1. There was a middle linebacker from the Bears series in Kalispell that should be coach. Also, thoughts on Vikings secondary with Patrick Peterson and Woods and Alexander back. I love the veteran experience being back in the secondary. Last year was such a huge head scratcher. It was, the veterans at safety. Anthony Harris and Harrison Smith. And just everything in front of them was inexperience. It was not a good situation. So I'm already happy just... Even if Pete isn't who he was, even if Mac Alexander's just making the minimum, he's a solid player, even if Woods, isn't as good as Anthony Harris, as a whole, I like this situation a lot better than last. And now a linebacker from the Bears and Kalispell. Are you talking about Marcus Calhoun? Marcus Calhoun as coach? Because, yeah, I did actually make Marcus Calhoun in that Bears series. That was a long time ago now. Marcus Calhoun's the coach of my Broncos, though, so I'll probably do a different coach. I like to get to different ones. Gotta be Combs, early first, great top 3, monster combine. Could be our top option. Could be. He's certainly one of my favorite players there at the very top. We also pick at 8, so it's like we can take him and then somebody else and really get this rebuild going in the right direction. I'm just trying to think of what else I could spend these points on, but I think at this stage, I'm not making a lot of late picks today. Just looking for standout combines basically now. We could also look to add more depth at power rusher. We don't have many power rushers on the team. How about Sylvester Seymour for head coach? Ooh, one of my favorites. I don't know. Maybe like top comment here on the video. Top player suggested. But we are definitely changing our head coach. Geno Harris will be somewhat fired in the series. Kane, go get yourself an elite talent, quarterback or not. 2 picks inside the top 10 doesn't happen every day. Boof Cobb for head coach. I agree with you there. We just got to get a couple elite talents that can help us take that next step. And now it's time for that draft to get underway. What an off season it's already been, everybody. It's been a lot of fun hanging out with everybody for the last couple of hours, but now the main event is here, the NFL Draft. I think the plan is, yes, you take Wheeler if he is there at 2. I don't know if he will be. I kind of think he won't be, but you never know. We made these moves in the offseason, the free agency. New starting tackle Leslie Good, Kurt Reiner at inside linebacker, and then Robert Penn at running back. Not a lot of moves for our cap space, but this is all about the draft. Young foundation, finding the players we're going to be building around now in Chapter 2 of the rebuild. So let's get on with it, everybody. The 2025 NFL Draft has begun. Now, it's all about what Philly does here, number 1. Drew, thank you for the super chat. Hey, Kane, been watching since the Raiders franchise. Gotta take Wheeler and make Gary Rivera head coach for that dono. Oh, man. I appreciate that. And I appreciate the big super chat there, Gary. All right. Does Philadelphia? Please no. No problem, Gary. It'll be an X player. So Nate Wheeler, when we scouted him in season, he was just like a mid-first round quarterback prospect, and I don't know what happened. Did he take Miami to the national championship game or something? Because now his talent changed again. This isn't supposed to happen. Is it early? Is it mid? It keeps changing. Is there a draft story we can check here? Shantavius Spruce, Heisman Trophy winner. Just says he's a defensive player. Tyler Gates. Sam Sears laid an egg at his pro day. All right. 1 to 10 is early, so he's tied for 10. That's what I think is happening here. We have some ties, and it's like just kind of confusing us here. What that does mean is he's probably on, he is the borderline player there. So that means he's not going to be the number 1 player in true talent. He's going to be closer to 10. So that does change things. If he doesn't have a chance to be the best player in the draft, would we still take him at 2? I mean, the top 3 is great, the combine's great, so I think you still have to really consider it. But because mid-first round talent is there, that tells me that his overall will be a little bit lower, a few points lower, but also perhaps his development isn't as high. It definitely lowers the expected value of his talent, or his development. So that's what it comes down to. I think this may work. I said you should have traded Watson and changed to a 4-3, and you did. With all those picks and free agency moves, the team can only get better. The team can only get better. The question is how much. All right. Eagles first on the clock. What are they going to do here? I don't think they take the quarterback. Now that he's not early first talent, maybe. I'm not even sure what to think anymore. David Cameron is the #1 pick in the draft, and we are on the clock here at 2. I actually like that it's changing in real life. Guys rise and fall all the time. Mitch Trubisky is a guy that rose even though he shouldn't have. I don't think it's happening because the game is like trying to create that kind of realistic scenario. It's cool how it's playing out, but I think it's literally like ties, and it's just bouncing back and can't make up its mind. Recap of free agency. Had to take a call during free agency. All we did, Sly, is we added running back Robert Penn, who's only 25 years old, 88 overall. We added Leslie Good to the offensive line. And then for defense, we ended up going with Kurt Reiner at linebacker. Just 3 main moves, and all 3 are going to be starters. We wanted to save a lot of openings here for the draft. So now, Nate Wheeler is available. But do we prioritize going for the early round 1 talents? Andrew Combs definitely looks like one of the premier players in this class, one of the top. Let's move Combs here to the top because he has that round 1 early first talent. Same with Glenn Barkley. Same with Tevin Tyson, whose combine was also excellent. Danny Shorts early first round. Allen Beverly as well. Entire top 3 is at least an A-. And you have George Jones at wide receiver. It looks like the chat really wants Combs. Madden's so unrealistic. What happened to the Eagles quarterback factory? Yeah, I don't know why they didn't take the quarterback there. But, like, here's the thing. We just watched a CPU team that needs a quarterback pass on the top guy. The CPU is analyzing information, too, to see if things are worth it. And quarterback's the #1 need. Shouldn't that be kind of a, hey, wait a minute here. Although they did sign Matt Taylor, so they did make a move. Maybe it's looking at the fact they made a signing. I'm not sure. They have so many quarterbacks. Yeah, if we don't take them, the Patriots are. You'd have to think. They ended up with Travis Monroe and Blake Bortles and Clayton Stallworth. Don't make the same mistake at defensive back that you made with me. Take Combs. From Corin Haggerty himself. Oh, boy. I do really want to give Jordan Love a chance to be our quarterback. I would like to see how he plays with a full, a better team around him. I think I'd be a lot more confident in taking the quarterback if he was early, because that would make me feel better about the potential development. We could drop to 6, but I think we'd be missing out on Combs potentially there. Let's save quick. It's a tough one, honestly. It's either Nate Wheeler or Jordan Love. That's what you're doing right here. And predicting development is tough. The only thing I do is I say, okay, early first round talent, I feel pretty good about it. Anything else, I have no clue. Oh boy. You should take Combs here. Quarterback is still undervalued in Madden. He could be there at 8. If he isn't, then you have Love and you can put quarterback at the top. That's a good point. There's no guarantee he goes, but you'd have to think the Patriots do. Especially because he's a #1 player on the available board. Like, he won't be around forever. How sure are we that Combs is like better than Tevin Tyson, by the way? B-man for both. B pursuit for both. Tyson has better hit power. And he's 3 inches taller. Tyson is 23. Combs 21. Okay. A 2-year gap does make a difference there. Combs' combine is a little bit... it graded out worse. Why is that? The bench reps probably... I don't see anybody talking about Tyson, really. JH Gaming, Tyson is better. There's also, you know, Allen Beverly. Favorite series, period. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate the super chat very much. From Yannick. Is that how it's pronounced? Hope I got that right. You also have 2 first-rounders next year to get a quarterback. That's also what I'm thinking. Like, if the Jordan Love experiment fails, there's next year with 2 more first-round picks. And maybe an early first-round opportunity for a trade-up. So, I really like Allen Beverly. Would he be there at 8? I can move up from 8. Look at the Dolphins trade down to 4th pick. I'm not even sure I want to trade down. Oh, man. This one is so tough. Because I can see the case for Combs, Tyson, and Allen Beverly. They're all early first-round players. But it's like... it really comes down to development, and we just have no indication of who would have potentially higher development. At all. Beverly's 22, Tyson's 23, Combs is 21. So age is like the main differentiating factor here. The Pats do need a quarterback, but how many quarterbacks do the Pats have? If it's 3, you can bank your luck and get an early first round talent. They have like 4, maybe more. Beverly has the 3 A grades, go get them. Plus Combs and Tyson are similar, possible one or both available at 8. I also think that's a good line of thinking there, Zach. Our first pick's going to be Allen Beverly. I'm making the pick. That's the pick. Normal! 76 overall. Normal development is not the end of the year. End of the world. End of the year. I can still trade up and get a safety. What if Beverly goes? Or what if he went? I wanted a big, powerful, edge-setting pass rusher. This is a good trade. This is a good trade. Or this is a good pick. Do you think this is Cleveland Farrell all over again? It could be. I can still move up from 8. I can. They'll let me. The chat is not happy right now with Allen Beverly after a edge rusher first round last 2 years. He brings power rushing to the table though, and he's a good athlete. It's something different at the position. With some, upside maybe to kicking inside and playing a little bit of D tackle even. So chat's not happy with that one. Just because you have a ton of picks doesn't mean you always hit on those picks. It doesn't, but I get a lot of shots. A lot of shots. All right, so I think moving up from 8 obviously makes some sense. I will give the Patriots a pick here to see what they do. They go Nate Wheeler, 75 overall. So he'll be the first player we check on, probably. Did he have the development or not? Bev should be fine. Take the picks one by one, and once the safety quarterback go, then trade up. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Gary sends a super chat. Just restart real quick. Nope, already saved. I wanted Beverly. I wanted that skill set really badly. And I can still get the safety. A safety. They're both available right now. Andrew Combs goes to Miami. So if Combs is like an X factor, I'll never hear the end of it. I want to trade up now with Cleveland. Please don't be Bill O'Hurricane. Oh, I think I'm already on my way to accomplishing that. Now, what does it take to move up here a few spots? All right, 3rd round pick. I think that's fair. On the clock. I wasn't totally sold on Combs being better than Tyson. He is a couple years younger. So if that's your tiebreaker, that's fair. Tyson, though, 3 inches taller, stronger, better hit power. 76 hitting. All right, that's 5 in true value. Both safeties were 76. Can I at least get a W for that one? Like half a W? This is Xavier Watts' skill set, pretty much. It would be Miami that takes the player we, the viewers, wanted you to grab. I know, it's always Miami. Always Miami. Excellent speed. Position flexible. He can play strong safety. He could play man-to-man against the tight end. I'm excited to develop Tevin Tyson. 73 catching, by the way. All right? When we check out Combs, I want to know his catching because that matters. I want turnovers. Combs was 78. I thought it said 76. Won't tell me right now. Was it 78 or 76? Yep. Miami sniping your players just like in the Broncos series. I can't get away from this team. Alright, chat's giving me half a W right there. Give me the V. Will the transaction log show? It was 76, okay. Alright, so right off the bat, we go with a pass rusher and a safety. Now, we have to be planning our next move up. I don't think we're waiting there with the top 2nd round pick and the second round pick saying, okay, that's good enough. I think we go back into the 1st round again. What's the target now? W. I think you have two great players for the future. Make sure Bev gets some serious playing time this year. Go Fins. Thank you for the super chat. And 2,000 people watching this. I didn't expect that. Not at all. I thought less than half, honestly. I thought it'd be like a 500 to 700 viewer stream. You are all ridiculous. Thank you. Love these streams, man. The energy is always so much fun. All right, so I think the next thing is probably going to be targeting a wide receiver. And as far as finding that right fit goes, that's been the greater challenge. If I'm fixated on a certain skill set, then like Steven Weaver would probably make the most sense. Combine was decent, late first talent. Do we go for that kind of move, or do we think that there's something more with somebody else? George Ingram, for instance, one of the best shuttles and the best three-cone. He might just be a deep threat, but could he turn into a really good slot receiver and get that short and medium route running up? There's also George Jones, another good 43-cone shuttle. It's the same situation. Or Danny Short, 6'1", a bit more size with the best 40, good 3-cone, good 20. So they all are deep threats with very similar top threes. Combine freak next. I mean, Short's combine, yeah, is pretty freaky at 7'3". Max Whitmore had a 7'5", because he also combined a good 40 invert with the top bench. The game really likes when you have a good bench press. So I think receiver certainly makes a lot of sense. Tight end we probably wait on. I'm not wearing a bathing suit. These are Nike shorts. These aren't swim trunks. Although I occasionally have been known to wear swimming trunks as shorts. They're comfortable. So it's all about what receiver we want to target. And do we try trading back up into the top 10, or do we give it some time? Probably earlier the better, huh? My dog's under the desk right now. It's not very easy to get at him at the moment. He's under a bunch of stuff. If he comes over, I'll show you. I'll show you, buddy. All right, the chat loves short. All right, so we know that receiver is probably the next move up. Pass rusher already addressed. Defensive tackles already very deep. If there were anything else to move up for in the first round, I think it'd have to be probably a corner. That's where you have Lionel McLeod, mid. Dalvin Everett, mid. But with Lynn Cox on the team, is that even super necessary? I think moving up for a receiver makes the most sense. So now it's all about what's the price. And the other thing too is the salaries for these early picks. Now, it's not going to break the bank for us, but it will be more than normal. So, who was like a top pick last year or something? Let's go to Cam Cobb. What is he making? Because just to have like 3 players in the top 10, what do those contracts look like? Like Cam Cobb, number 1 pick, is about to make $10 million in the last year of his deal. Where are the receivers on the available? Okay. So it starts at 7. And Danny Short's kind of the top guy here. All right. Now, how hard is it to get to 6? I don't think the Panthers want to take a receiver, so I'm not sure I'll trade with them, but I gotta start pricing this out here. What does it cost? All right, so if we packaged up the 2s together, keep in mind that's only 2 of the 3 second-round picks. We might be able to pull it off for all 3 second-round picks. I think we sim a few. Not too many. But the trade value here in the top 10 is just immense. Jacob Castillo off the board to the Panthers. Now it's the Giants. Giants, Browns, Broncos. Don't need a receiver. Don't need a receiver. Definitely don't need a receiver. Faster to go this way. Probably don't. They do. So we got to get in before Indianapolis, I think. It doesn't say they do, but they do. You know? Ricky Redmond. All right, that's a Dave Gettleman pick right there. That is Dave Gettleman. He never left. And they're not swim trunks. There goes Danny Short to Cleveland. They had no need of making that pick. They had no need there. All right, still a couple options. Kane, love the series. Love the first 2 picks. Let's finish strong. By the way, what's a dude got to do to get his name on one of the players? I don't usually incorporate like members of the chat as like names in the series, just because that would mean I'm like excluding people. So the only time I've really done it before is when I have done a member stream on my main channel, and I was literally making a league from scratch in Super Mega Baseball, and that's where I was like, all right, you know, there's like a handful of members that watch the stream every month. There was room for everybody. That's the only thing with me is I don't like excluding people or picking favorites because of, like, you know, super chats and whatnot. So I've never really gotten into that. But I appreciate the super chat very much. So we miss out on the #1 receiver, but that doesn't mean that we're not moving up for a receiver. I think George Ingram here is my favorite. 21 years old, excellent 3-cone and shuttle. Jones is probably a little bit faster. But Jones has better spec catch and catching. Just a couple of years older. George Jones or George Ingram. There's also Max Whitmore, late round talent, though. I really want to focus on the early round 1 talents while we can. Better chance of high dev and really hitting on that pick. I think part of it is Jones is better. He's 23. Where's Ingram going to be when he's 23? Will his spec catch and catching still be lower? Because it does look like Jones is better right now. But we do want the guy who's going to be best in like 3-4 years. With Tyson, I was kind of factoring in the height a little bit. We'll have to compare those safeties and see if that was the right call. I'm not trading McMullen in the draft. I don't like doing a lot of player trades in the draft. Teams value that too much. Ingram is going to be the better route runner. I'm not sure what we have that says that for sure, unless you think the 3-cone correlates. This 3-cone is better. I think either one is a great option. Error, YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Seriously? I have some dropped frames. Alright, we're dropping a few frames right now. I'm gonna slow things down a bit and see if it stabilizes. It says my quality is good. I've had some internet problems over the past couple weeks, but nothing really in the last like 5 days or so. So hopefully it's not too bad. We're at 1,621 dropped frames. Hopefully it doesn't do any more. It's not dropping any frames at the moment for me. Is it still lagging? I'm still seeing lag comments. Okay. Streams dropping frames. Thank you, Vision, for the super chat. Good now, much better, fixed. Ooh, good, good, good. I'm wondering now if it's delayed the chat for me at all. Little experiment here. Everybody type the number 12 in the chat right now. I'm trying to see how delayed it is. All right. About 12, 13 seconds. I wonder if that'll get any better. Thank you for that. I think usually we run at like a 5 or 6 second delay. 15 isn't the end of the world. I used to stream all the time at like a 45-second delay, and I can't even imagine doing that now. All right. It hasn't dropped any more frames in a couple minutes, so I'm imagining whatever hiccup is gone. All right, so we like the receiver situation here. Obviously, the number one guy is now gone. I don't think we could totally, like, discount the idea of moving up for Armand Dalton, maybe with another pick. I just don't know if he can block, and I really want someone who can. Oh yeah, there are late round tight ends I like. I was more so thinking in addition. Like, what about Dalton plus Watson or Hairston? Getting two guys. Not to fill the same need necessarily. I know that was confusing because I mentioned the blocking. Alright, Lionel McLeod is off the board. And now Mike Zimmer is going to want a corner. I doubt he's even in Minnesota right now in the series. Daryl Polk. So we're out of the top 10. Moving up now becomes a little bit easier, but we have division opponents, so we're not trading with them. I need to sim to the Steelers pick. Dalvin Everett and Pierce Ross at running back. Another running back for Tennessee. Draft the wide receiver from Michigan. Go Wolverines. Thank you, Brandon. Funny you said Michigan receiver. I read your name as Braylon Edwards when we were talking about Michigan wideouts. Braylon Edwards, NFL head coach, record breaker. Avery, please do not spam. How long is Norwood signed? I think it's 2 more years. All right, where are the other, who actually has a deal coming up this year that we could start planning around? So, Jabari Carr's deal is up after this year. That might make me think about D-tackle a little bit, because if he's asking for $13, $15 million a year, are you giving that to Jabari Carr? Because from what I've seen, I don't think I would. Unfortunately, I just don't see with his ratings, well, I see great ratings, but I don't see the production. Do you sign Jabari after this year? What about Justin Reed? Randy Wallace? I think that's probably happening. Probably Reed as well, because safeties always want 1 or 2 year deals. And then Kerry Borden. Okay, so you're talking about both D tackles being up after this year. All right, we're targeting D tackle. I should have nailed that down sooner, but it's not too late. All right, that's good info. That's very good info. So let's talk about the D tackles in this class. Rudy Flynn, first round talent, early first as well, with an outstanding 40 time, vert, broad jump, shuttle. Rudy Flynn. Hugh Weaver, not quite as intriguing, but still a good option. And then Cordell Hillhouse, who had a negative draft story. Does anybody remember that a few minutes ago? More than a few. When I was going through those stories, he had a negative one. And I like his top 3 in Combine. So now I want to double check that. Nobody listed at end that I found could play D-tackle the way I want. So I think now trading up for a D-tackle becomes important. Cordell Hillhouse didn't impress a whole lot of scouts at his combine. I thought it was pretty good. That being said, his draft stock didn't take a huge hit. So is that bad, or is it just like, okay? So now we're looking at D-tackle being a high priority and receiver a little bit. So we could look to move up with both second-round picks. We could make 4 first-round selections this year. The issue is just trading without them packaged together makes it a lot more expensive, which we can still pull off. Flynn looks really good, and if I had to put money on it, I'd say Ingram has the highest dev of the receivers. Who do we like more? Rudy Flynn with the amazing combine and being 21 years old, or Hillhouse with also a good combine, kind of a bad broad jump. Both really good. Definitely the edge goes to Flynn, partially because of the talent. Negative stories still count towards the increased chance that hidden dev. Don't give up on Hillhouse. Won't give up on him, but I think it becomes a tiebreaker for Rudy Flynn. Matthew, please do not spam. You say I'm muted. I think your computer might be muted, or your phone. That or you're trolling. So Flynn gets the edge there. I think we have to look at moving up now. This is the range for the receivers. You might be able to wait a few picks later for D-tackle, but with these picks, that's why we shouldn't be waiting around. We can get guarantees here. The Steelers have all these defensive needs. What? So now the question is, can we move up without packaging these two together? Gotta give up this second round pick and probably a 3. Come on. 58 and 81. This is like the best offer I can give them. Because I'm not trading the 2s together. I think I legitimately want to make 4 first round picks. So I gotta sim past the Steelers pick to make this work. Jalen Booth, right tackle, 70. Okay. Fine with me. Oh, you need offensive line? Go take one. It's a great class for that. All right, the next pick now. I think we'll get a deal done with Atlanta. All right, we move up. Up to pick 14. Our 3rd first round pick of the year. Receiver here or tight end makes the most sense. So we have George Jones, 4.38, early first talent, spec catch, great catching, great deep route running. George Ingram is 21, also early first round talent. Now, it'd be hard for me to pass on 2 early first round talents that are 21. I already took one 23-year-old, so part of me thinks I should go for a 21-year-old now to have a younger player for developing. Armin Dalton, being he's a mid-first, is probably not in the discussion here. So I think it's Ingram. I think Ingram's the guy here. George Ingram. He's not going to be quite as fast, but the gap could also be 1 point. George Ingram is the pick. Hidden development, 6th in true talent. We make it happen. Ooh, 92 speed, 80 catching, 83 spec catch. Get Ingram. I did, Vision. Thank you for the super chat. The agility is off the charts. The route running is going to get there. Short and deep to start. That's perfect. If I had to pick for one of those to be low, which would I pick? Medium. I care way more about separation on streaks and slants than I do about the 15-yard dig. I can find somebody else to run that route. You're not running that out of the slot that often anyway. And I think Ingram would project to be the new slot. Or a running back. Probably not. Yards after the catch. And good catching ability. I mean, when a team drafts Tavon Austin in the first round, this is what they think they're getting. This is what they think they're drafting. When you take that undersized slot gadget receiver in the top 10. That's a solid pick right there. Also, he had aggressive catching as a trait. Nice pick collecting those fast 5'8 guys. Gonna move up for Flynn too? I think so. I think we go for 4. We could probably handle waiting a few picks. But why? Like I said earlier, why do that? We have the picks for a reason. So we don't have to miss the guys that we want. Can you imagine a few off seasons from now when I have to do 4 fifth-year options at the same time? It might create some cap issues at some point, but not today and not tomorrow. The problem is now is I don't have that other second round pick to package. We're talking about picks that are in the 80s. We now have to sim a little bit. So we might miss on Flynn. Unless we get into those futures. Which a future 2 is equivalent to a current 3. Armin Dalton's the next pick. I'm not adding in McMullen. I don't throw players into those trades. George Jones off the board to San Francisco. The D tackles, by the way, 16 on the board. Like, I shouldn't have to trade up. Let's get into the 20s. Max Tatum. Shantavius Spruce. He was the Heisman winner, I believe. Yes. Ross Felton. Gerald Bowie. Armin Roper. Now 11th on the board. Courtney Sheldon. Ricky Freeman. Are the Dolphins anywhere ahead of me? Because I might have to leapfrog them if they are. There goes Rudy Flynn here at 24. Oh, man. Thought we could go a little bit more. That trade up would have been a lot more reasonable. That's okay. So now I think it becomes probably Cordell Hillhouse, and we don't have to really move up for him, I don't think. Yeah, Hillhouse is my guy here, and he's the 3rd round projected player. We don't have to move up now. I'm okay with that. Now we can make a couple more picks. We've already traded up twice. A 3rd would deplete our top 100 a little bit. I wonder what a trade up here would cost. Probably a 3. Maybe with something late mixed in. Well, we'll see if we can make something happen with that extra pick now. What's his talent, by the way? And we're talking about targeting the player now who's ranked on the board. I'm not trading up for the 53rd player. I'll take him with my next pick. So we only make 3 first-round picks. So what are the trade downs here? Pick up a future 4 from Minnesota. A future 3. A 4 now and a 6 now. Future 4. A 4 this year. That Lions trade down ain't bad. I don't want to trade out, otherwise that would be enticing. This ain't much, but we only be falling 3 slots. A 5 and a 7. The Lions trade ain't bad. So, I'm trying to plan a couple steps in advance here. It's like playing chess. So, say we take a D tackle now. We don't pick again till late 3rd, which we do twice. So, what do we think by the 3rd round we're going to be able to do? Because most of these players are probably going to be gone. Is there enough late talent to even want to trade down? In the 3rd, I think that's where the tight ends come into play. Like, Hillhouse is kind of my next guy. Also not a bad time to think about offensive line, but that's debatable if they'll be available. Let's go to my draft board here. That's probably where we're starting to just build depth. I do have some undrafted players on the board, so that makes adding a late pick a little more intriguing. A trade down could make sense then, because I think I can make something of those 5s and 6s then. If I take like Anthony Montague, a fullback, there was a receiver here, Daniel Clifford. So yeah, I think that maybe another late pick does make sense. Only team I'm worried about are the Dolphins. The Lions move up for Dwayne Hobbs. Max Whitmore, 73. Renee Stockton, Washington State. Jared Lewis, Brandon Williams, and we're back on the clock now. Now what are the trade downs? This is pick 40 overall. We could trade down again and get a 4th. Another 4. That would only be 5 more spots. What do we think there? Could take Hillhouse now or get an additional 4th round pick. And by the way, we're still targeting a player who is ranked on the available board 43rd. I think I have enough picks. There is a little risk because he's not going in the 3rd round. It's all about when in the 2nd does he go. That's how these play out. Let's get our guy. What was your favorite Madden series to do? Nick, I mean, the rebuilds here on this channel have been some of my favorite projects, actually. As far as the franchise goes, I think that the Broncos is turning out to be my best and deepest and most fun. Cordell Hillhouse, hidden development. 21 years old. And the archetypes are tight. You can do whatever you want. You want him to be a finesse rusher? You want him to be a 3 technique? We'll make it happen. You want him to be a nose? We'll make it happen. The athleticism is off the charts for a D tackle too, by the way. 85 acceleration, 79 speed. Oh man, this is gonna be so much fun. Cordell Hillhouse. Hi Nick, thank you for the super chat. Feel good about that pick. Now with our remaining picks, we still could look to move up potentially. We've taken a receiver, 2 defensive linemen, and a safety. If we were to move up, the only thing to me that makes sense is to add another receiver, which I don't think I'll do, or start to get a jump on the lineman, the offensive lineman. But that can wait. That can certainly wait a while. Like, the primary target of mine for O-line depth, and again, we're talking depth, not starting. Please make sure he is 3rd in depth and maybe even back up. And he'll get some playing time, Robert. We'll make sure he gets some playing time this year. Like, I'm not locking in Borden to 1,000 snaps again with his production, because he and Carr, both to me, have been kind of underwhelming. Now, we'll see what the scheme change does. We went over Jabari Carr earlier. Here's Kerry Borden. Again, just solid production. Nothing is off the charts. I don't think when we watch us play, they stand out as much as you would hope. They're still good players, but we're trying to give us a chance to find better players. Also, I think tight end becomes the next priority over O-line. Yeah, definitely. There's a significant speed difference too. Watson has like 0.15 of a second better time. What's the bench difference? Hairston gets the edge. And I don't have to trade up like now. Watson's literally 5th round projection. This is more in the early 3 conversation, I think. So let's start to sim a little bit. TJ Reed, Glenn Barkley, still some good talents out there. Byron Buckner. Justin Kincaid goes here. Who thought he was going top 50? That was a lot earlier than I expected. So when does DeAndre Beckham go? DeAndre Beckham, late 3, projected and talent. He is a target now. Watson will be hidden dev. Trust? Hope so. I mean, I don't get my hopes up. I've gotten 2 today. I call that a win. Hopefully we can find at least one more. Hugh Weaver. He lasted a while. Steven Weaver, 73. This is a nice deep class. This was a good year to have all these picks. Man, still really good starting caliber players are going here in the second. I'm starting to get nervous about this run on tight ends. What would it cost to move up a full round here? I can do it for like a 5 and a 6. Or I could probably do it for a 4. What do we think? Move up? I think we're getting close to his spot if we don't trade up. As far as the available board, the game has him. This doesn't mean everything, but the game has him pretty low. But because of his true talent, he will go way higher than like 95 picks from now. I think here we play it safe. There's no need to try to maximize, you know, every little thing and hope that everything works out our way. And we've had to take our plan B at a couple spots already. So let's not do it this time. I wonder though, can I trade my later 3 with a 4 instead of the earlier 3? Ah, they caught on. I still can't. Why did it? $85, 104. I have to throw in a 6? Alright. A 4 and a 6 to move up here. This tight end role, I think, is going to be pretty important. So we're going to get it solidified. With a first-round talent, Russ Watson. Normal development out of Texas. 60 blocking archetype. So this kind of just replaced Calvin Paulson. I may still end up drafting another tight end now. Another receiving tight end. I was hoping that there'd be a little more blocking there. I wonder if Hairston's better. Very interested now in Hairston. That's kind of an L, honestly. Are you going to be doing an MLB The Show franchise this year? Been trying to get more into baseball recently. I'd like to do something with MLB The Show. I don't know exactly how I want to do the series yet. I'm thinking about that. And I'll be talking about it with the members in the members stream tomorrow on the main channel. It's all good, Drew. I thought he was a good pick. I mean, I was with everybody agreeing, like, yeah, I think he is the guy. I don't know if Dante Hairston can block. He doesn't have blocking archetype. It's just not that common. I don't know if any of these guys can block. That's the thing. I'm guessing. Because blocking is rarely in top 3s. And in this case, it's only in the top 3s for players who are undrafted talent. So the only thing is if Hairston has it, he's 275 pounds and he had a better bench. You'd have to think his blocking has a bit more upside. He's also not a vertical threat. All right, what are the rest of my picks? 3, 4, 5, 6. So we still might take a fullback. Ernie Pittman would be a solid pick. I do want to get Daniel Clifford. Pretty sure I still want to get him. I don't think I'm trading up, though. I think with the rest of my picks, I'm just going to start taking depth. A tight end one, though, is kind of like... We kind of missed. We gave up 3 picks. Well, gave up 2 picks to go get them. Already have regrets about that draft pick. And the game is giving me an opportunity. It's saying, all right, you want a second chance at Dante Hairston? Here you go. Oh, man. Now, when the Ravens drafted Mark Andrews, you know he wasn't the first tight end they took, right? They took Hayden Hurst in the first round that year. Took their better tight end in the 4th round, I believe it was. Do we go Dante Hairston? I think the upside is way greater than with any of these backup linemen. They're just strictly, okay, good backup linemen. If I hit on this pick, we're talking about boosting the running game and maybe having a dual threat tight end. The upside is high. I can talk myself into it at least. On the available board, the famous available board, Dante Hairston is ranked 34th. Early 2 talent, late 4th round. You split the difference. Where does it end up? 3rd round somewhere. We're late 3rd round. He's probably overdue for being drafted. Number 1 rule in the draft is go get your guys, right? Dante Hairston has hidden development! 62 blocking. He's a better blocker. And he has a hidden dev. You gotta go get your guys. Let's go. Sure, it's still going to need development. But if you want a guy who can block on day 1 with the best of them, they're going to have stone hands. They're not going to be receiving threats whatsoever. Dante Hairston is who I've been trying to add. Let's go. I like that move. And now the turnaround to our next pick ain't too bad. There are still solid players going, too. On the clock again. 3 picks left. Yeah, I meant Hairston, not Watson. I never lost. Exactly. Exactly. Easy mix up there. So I have 3 picks left. I do want to take one of these undrafted receivers. I like Daniel Clifford. Ernie Pittman as a backup offensive lineman wouldn't be bad, especially with the high bench. I mean, that'd be a really good player to start developing. My question right now is, do I need more than 3 picks? Or can I make something happen with them? Or am I better off just staying put? I will be doing a recap. Yes, a recap edited episode. There's also Sam Sears at safety. Might be good depth, but I don't think that's a super high priority. I'm going to take a look at the trade down offers. 142, or I don't know why I said 142. Round, is it the 142nd pick? So 3 times 32 plus 2. This is the 98th pick. Yeah, these trade downs aren't any good. Alright, no good. And Miami's just trying to rip me off. So, it's time to just make a pick, I think. Of course Miami would offer that. I'm taking Ernie Pittman. 69. Just an idea, trade a late round pick for a top kick returner. We might have drafted one this year, Cameron, but that's not a bad idea. I was hoping Craig Red could break one. Ernie Pittman. So we got a huge difference in power to agile. This is that situation I've been talking about, everybody. A couple serious weaknesses. I think here with Pittman, we've seen this play out now. With McCoy, with McMullen. You go all in on his low archetype and you get that balanced. I think that's a W right there, though. That's a backup center, rookie 69 overall with strength. You just work on the agile archetype literally every single time. And it's a depth pick, so hard to be too mad at anything there. No one's going to be perfect at this part of the draft. We're almost outside of the top 100 players. Oh my. Jeremiah Bradham. Devin Bradham. Oh, the story writes itself, guys. It writes itself. The Bradham brothers reunited in New England. What a backfield they're going to have. Sam Sears off the board. All right, give me 1 minute, guys. I gotta go to the bathroom again. This water's going right through me. Be back in just a minute. We'll finish out this draft and then maybe do some undrafted signings. Back again, everybody. All right, we're 3 hours into the stream today. What a stream it's been. Thank you all for being part of the off season today. It's been really fun. I love doing big streams like this. So we are almost to our pick here in the 5th round. We have a couple left to make. There goes Mitch Spellman. There's still 70 overall players out there, though, if you did the scouting. And we are on the clock again here in the 5th round. 2 picks left to make. Best player available is Daniel Clifford, it looks like. Daryl Layman is another option, though. And I'm really interested in him. 7'4". Is he there in the 6th? That's the question. Layman or Clifford? What do you guys think? A quarterback? I don't think the quarterbacks are there. Like, I just don't think that it's worth it. We don't have any good grades or anything. Finally caught up to present time. Haha, loving the draft, man. Thank you, Jesse. It's been a fun one. Chat says go Daniel Clifford. We'll go get him right now. 68 normal development out of Columbia. Good short route running. 78 catching, 77 catching traffic. So just a slot receiver to start developing. However, with release at 76, that's not far from being in the 80s. I feel like you could turn him into just a solid all-around receiver too. Not bad. Kane, please change all your O-line numbers so we're in the 50s. 50s are linebacker numbers. It hurts to see it on O-line. I'll probably make some changes there. I would like to have some more 50s used for our linebackers, or have more available. So I'm not sure how many picks we end up making today because of all the trades. But that's kind of what I expected would happen today, is we would do a lot of trading up early on, and we wouldn't make 10 picks in the top 100. I thought it would be 6, but I think we're going to end up with it being even less than that for the top 100. But I think that's what you do when you have all those picks. You don't wait around. You go get your guys. Even then, there are things we could have done differently, and sometimes we didn't always get the #1 guy. We made sure we at least always got the #2 guy. All right, Daryl Layman from Washington State is our final pick of the day. He's a 67 overall normal dev edge rusher, 273 pounds, 80 speed, 81 strength. Certainly a long way for him to go, but a good backup player to bring in. And I don't anticipate trading up here with future picks to get into the 6th round. So it looks like our day here is done. That was a fun draft. I know everybody wanted the fullback there, but I took 2 tight ends, so I feel good about addressing that extra blocking role. So 3 first-round picks, 2 seconds. We end up making 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 picks overall. Allen Beverly, Tevin Tyson, George Ingram, Cordell Hillhouse, Russ Watson, Dante Hairston, Ernie Pittman, Daniel Clifford, Daryl Layman. I thought I'd make a little bit more later picks for depth, or maybe more in the 3rd round even for depth, but there was just so much trading up, and the one for Watson ended up not being the right move. So that's the main thing I wish I could have changed. is not trading up for Watson and then having 3 picks to do something else with. I'll take it. But as always, what else could I have done? David Cameron went number 1. Normal dev, edge rusher. I still like the ratings here. But no high dev, 73 overall, that's disappointing. Alright, Nate Wheeler. Hidden development to the Patriots. I just wasn't super confident in him being hidden. So the accuracy is already solid. 89 throw power. I personally like a little bit more for the deep ball. 84 speed. He would have been a fine pick. What do you think? Check the dev. You want me to check it right now? Oh, okay. Please be star. Yes. I can live with that. He's still going to be good. I think he'll end up being a higher rated player than Jordan Love. But if you're to have all those picks and you take a quarterback, you don't want a marginal upgrade over Jordan Love. You want a greater upgrade. And Wheeler is better with accuracy on day 1. And that's probably going to be the main way he ends up being better than Jordan Love, is I think he'll have elite accuracy. But do you watch Jordan Love play and say, oh, what he's missing is accuracy? I don't think so. Maybe throw under pressure. Wheeler's is a 75. What is Love's? $86, and I still think it could be better. So 75 would be horrible. Wheeler has a little bit more speed too. Love's arm is stronger, and you know, it might not sound like much here, and like, why even bother pointing this out, but he has 4 more throw power, and I do think, you know, for some of those big plays, that does make a difference. Especially when we have receivers that can get open downfield. The deep ball is going to be a lot better for Love. It's not about having enough arm strength to throw the deep ball. It's about having enough strength to actually like win because your deep ball is good. And having a chance to hit those plays where the receiver's open and he catches it in stride and doesn't have to come back for it. So that's the hope that, you know, we saw Jermaine Candidate with that deep ball late in the season in that one episode. I forget which one it was. Hopefully there's more of that then. And throw power is one of the like worst things to scout for in here. It'll say A throw power, but that is A within the context of the draft class. So that doesn't mean it's going to be 94 and above. I'm pretty sure Wheeler had A throw power. All right, Andrew Combs, hidden development at safety. We're not checking his. We're only checking Wheeler's dev. We'll find out other ones organically. So Combs has very similar speed. I mean, very, very similar skill sets here. I thought they were very similar, but everybody wanted Combs. It seemed like a 90-10 split. I thought it was a situation where you let one go and then you make your move for the other one. We took Tyson. Oh, what's the catching, by the way? Because Tyson had 73, so did Combs. So, I mean, looking at this, I think you do have to say Combs is better just because he's 2 years younger. I guess the difference is we didn't have to trade up to 4, we had to trade up to 5 instead. But maybe we would have traded out the same picks to get to 4. Tyson's morale already bad because of Houston. Oh, man. Let's fix that. Return to the roots of the Mr. Hurricane cinematic universe. Make Christian Ponder the next head coach. I mean, it would make sense in that context. 66 awareness, 72 play rec. It's docking 1. 68 awareness, 69 play rec. It's just so even. Edge goes to Combs only because of age. But once we know developments, then it might change. Jacob Castillo to the Panthers, 75. Hidden development. Ricky Redmond, hidden development. That's not too bad right there. Everything is at least decent. This was the other miss. Ooh, Danny Short, normal dev. Good routes. Not gonna have a problem. So Danny Short was the guy we were targeting. We ended up with a hidden dev receiver. That's a W right there. Steelers had moved up for Jalen Booth. You know, I wonder when you watch games if a player like Booth seems to play better than a 70 just because of the balanced ratings and nothing just being super low. Now, granted, everything here is under 75, the important stuff. But imagine in a few years where, like, those 74s become 78s. I wonder if you end up just having more success with a player like him. Armin Dalton, normal dev, tight end. 68 run blocking. He actually had better run blocking than most. Cool. Shantavius Spruce, the Heisman Trophy winner, gets hidden dev. And like 4,000 traits. Like, why? It's literally like offsetting the attribute thing here. I don't know why. Is it because his name is so long or something? I don't get it. Here's V for Tyson, but dev, check dev for Combs at least, superstar. Also check the schedule, want to see the games versus the Pats and Finns if they're on it. I'm not checking their developments. I'm going to let those ones remain a mystery because we're comparing them to players that I'm not going to be manually checking. So I checked Wheeler because we didn't draft a quarterback. I just wanted to see. But I'll check the schedule. Thank you for the super chat. All right, Rudy Flynn, we missed here on a normal dev D tackle. We got a hidden dev D tackle. Sometimes the best guy doesn't have that hidden dev. He's more maxed out. He's reached more of his potential. Now, granted, are you mad at normal dev with those ratings? Like, I wouldn't be. It sounds like he'd be earning star dev before too long. But I would still rather have hidden dev because it might be more than star. So compared to Hill House, Yeah, I think everything's close enough there to where Hill House is better when you consider the development. So we turned out to do pretty well there as well. We could have taken a very similar caliber safety who has better intangibles in the second round. TJ Reed. I think Reed was mid-first round talent. So obviously, I prioritize early first round talent. The difference, 1 overall rating. The difference in draft positioning, a full round plus. That's one of those things that's hard to, you know, you're not going to uncover a lot of that information beforehand. Hindsight gives you all that, but a full round later, basically, to get the same caliber player. Now, where'd the other receiver go? George Jones. Normal. You're telling me out of those 3, we picked the right one? Wow. Let's go. So looking back at all this here, it makes our draft look even better. Normal dev here for Kincaid. And I must have not paid attention when DeAndre... I can't read my handwriting anymore. DeAndre Beckham? When did he go? Because he was late 3 projected, late 3 talent. I really wanted to just know what happened with him. Okay, he went mid 3. Oh, it's DeAndrew. I can't see. I can't read. I couldn't even see the W. So yeah, I mean the backup linemen were decent. We still took a 69 overall, and I think we got a guy with higher strength and maybe a greater ceiling. So again, I think we won there picking a good backup lineman. Check the running back you picked up in free agency career stats. Good call, John. Thank you. Good call. I think we did a great job in the draft. I want to actually sort a few ratings out here. Please compare the quarterback traits between Love and our rookie quarterback. We don't have a rookie quarterback. You mean the rookie quarterback, the Patriots stuff? Those do have a big effect in game. Those have a big effect on how CPU does quarterback decision making. Yeah, the traits, I mean, you get no information on that pre-draft too, so it's like you kind of have to get lucky. All right, the receiver Whitmore, I think he went in the second, right? Yeah, Whitmore was also really interesting. He had the 7.5 combine. I think this is kind of the Amari Jones experience here. Also, he could play running back. Just saying. 6'3", 235-pound running back, okay? I mean, he's 235 pounds and 93 speed. That's pretty scary. Fastest player in the draft, tied 94. You got Steven Weaver, Andrew Combs, Mark Barnes, all skill players and DBs here. How about fastest non-skill player or player that covers a skill player? I want fastest linebacker, quarterback. What do you got? Fastest non-skill player or covering skill player. Linebackers are allowed though. Holden Austin, 89 speed at linebacker. Yeah, the linebackers are fast in this game, super fast. Play some off-season games today, please. not going to be getting into any games today. The stream's already 3 hours in. I'll be ending here fairly soon. So we are kind of wrapping up here. We got the best agility in the whole draft. Let's go. '84 ball carrier vision. We drafted the best running back, George Ingram. Can't wait to see if he'll actually use that running back skill set at receiver. I really hope so. Ooh, Bradham has the best break tackle. Let's go. 85 catching is the best. Danny Short, Marlon Stevenson. Short row, it's Daniel Clifford, #1. Are you kidding me? That's literally the best. How am I not tired? I mean, there are people on Twitch, I mean, that stream every day for like 8+ hours. You ever watch It's Iron, who plays Warzone? He streams for like 16 hours at a time. I'll watch him before bed, and then after I wake up. A lot of those guys really grind. I just stream for a few hours at a time. Every now and then. We're not gonna make the jet sweep anymore common. I got other ideas for his play. Yeah, Iron is really fun to watch. I watch a lot of Warzone streams, but I really like watching Iron because I feel he's one of the most thoughtful players. With, like, you know, you can meme about his strategies a little bit because, like, he does land outside circle, do a lot of recons and everything, but just rotations and his setups and everything and how calculated. I mean, the guy wins so much, so there's a lot you can pick up playing from him. He's really fun to watch. Like, a lot of the guys that are really big on Twitch, I mean, they're all really skilled players. But as somebody who's like trying to pick up things, I learn a lot more from a more strategic player like Iron because it's easier to incorporate strategy. I'm just probably never simply going to be good at, you know, I'm never going to be able to move around the map and shoot like a Joe Woe or somebody like that. Whoa. Oh, that's just the quarterback class. I mean, there was only one good option. Leo Doyle wouldn't have been the worst backup option. Small bladder cane? Maybe? Or maybe I'm just not thirsty and I just keep drinking water out of habit. Justin Kincaid, some of the best pass blocking here. These ratings might end up being a bit more vital. Because as somebody pointed out in the comments not long ago in an episode, like, this has a direct correlation and matchup with like a pass block finesse, or a pass rush finesse or power. Jalen Booth, best run block finesse. And tremendous lead block as well. Like, I kind of like that pick for the Steelers. It was probably too high. They shouldn't have traded up, but at least get a good player, and they did. I got the best power moves. I got the best pass rush skill in the whole class, okay? I took Allen Beverly at 2. So at least I got a player who was literally the best in the class at something. Don't let me down, Alan. Kane, I've been really going through some stuff lately, so this stream took my mind off that for a few hours. Thanks for all you do. Hope you're hanging in there, Ben. Sometimes times are really tough, but time can certainly heal a lot of things, and I know sometimes you just need a good distraction, so happy to supply that to you here for a little bit today. Hoping for the best for you, man. Signing any UDFAs? Possibly. I do like signing UDFAs. Always talking myself into the success story. Wait, what? There had to be somebody with more kick accuracy. Oh, there was just no kickers drafted then. That's what that means. Weird. Well, I guess not weird. CPU doesn't draft kickers. That's why they sign guys to one-year deals and they change kickers every year, because they never end up in a situation where a kicker has a multi-year contract. Kind of weird. I think in the 7th round, I mean, take your fullbacks, your long snappers, everything. Best UDFA signing in Kane history. Harmon Whitaker. I mean, hard to top that. Chargers franchise. Hayden knows what's up. I am really excited about this team. You got the Bradham brothers here in New England. They even got like the same stats. Very similar stats. Love it. So let's check this schedule then. Well, Geno Harris has already left the building here. He knows he's getting fired today. He's going to be replaced. Again, in the comments on the stream here, so it makes no sense to do it now. Afterwards, you can leave a suggestion for who you want to be the next head coach of the Texans, because Geno Harris is getting retired. Well, what's the schedule looking like? Do we play the Patriots? Do we play the Dolphins? Jaguars, Titans, Colts. I hope you like division games. They get kind of stale after a while. Patriots week 16. Circle it. Nate Wheeler matchup. We'll watch that one. We closed against the Washington football team. Not even in the same conference. What a weird schedule. Now, I may have to do a few changes here. Look at the floating surface. Who is the next coach? I got to sign a backup quarterback. You got to think maybe there's room for 1 or 2 more running backs, right? I like what we did at receiver, too. One of the things is I didn't want to do too much. I like Pearson. Let's bring in a high pick to compete and a low pick to compete. We did that. Craig Redd's on the hot seat. I just don't think he is that good. We've watched him play, and he doesn't look that good. He looks like a 66 overall receiver. Now, Dante Hairston, he is going to get some playing time. So, when it comes to all of our tight ends, his run blocking is tied with Norwood. His run block power is worse. His run block finesse is the same. So right now, he's about the caliber of blocker that Norwood is. But obviously, I'm putting the points into blocking. So if he's already tied with Hidden Dev, like, he's going to be a lot better within a year. Oh yeah, Robert Penn. I keep losing track here of my running backs. This was one of the first picks, or first moves we made today, and it's not one I'm sure I would have made without the chat's influence. I like the move because he's 25 years old. It was like $6 million a year, and it is like just banging your head against the wall trying to get running backs to produce that are in like the 70s for overall. It just doesn't work much. So we go with the 88 overall Robert Penn, who previously played for the Atlanta Falcons and has seen his production and opportunity drop off here over the last couple of years. He does catch the football well, and his yards per carry is okay. It's not great. Don't think he's going to be top 5 in rushing or anything, but I'm hoping we can get closer to average at running the football. He has made the Pro Bowl before. That's good. I'm guessing it would have been this season here. Would have had 9 touchdowns total, like 1,200 scrimmage yards, which is pretty solid. We want that production right there, which is basically like peak Bradham play. Bradham, by the way, now is a year older than him, 5 points lower rated. I do wonder how Bradham could have done with a whole year of play. Now, you might look at this average and be like, maybe you should have just played him more at 4.3. He had a 90-yarder on only 64 carries. That skews his average so much. That means on the other 63 carries, he had 2.9 yards a carry. Little context there. What's going on, DJ South? Glad you could make it here at the very end. Kane O'Mac. Hope you're doing well, man. Good to see you. Thank you for the super chat. Just checking out some quarterback situations now around the league. Very curious. Spencer Reed replacing Russell Wilson. Best of luck to you. Can I check the games played for Penn? I'm guessing he plays every game. Are you looking to see if he dealt with injury? Missed 1 game here, missed 3 here, and then 2 at 16. So, average to above average durability, looks like. Didn't play every snap, though. That's what this means right here. Which is surprising because he can catch the football. You'd think he'd play more snaps. This is more of a 60-40 split. You'll play about 1,000 snaps a year. 16 times, like, what's an average play count these days? Like 62 plays a game or something? That's 992. So that's, I always base it off of 1,000 is kind of like the total. So that's more of a 60-40 split. Who else did ATL have? I don't know if this is new. Actually, I know it's not. I've seen J.K. Dobbins in the ticker. He's been there for 2 years because we now can see this in career stats, everybody. So he was behind Dobbins, who was playing better than him. So we get ATL's number 2 guy. This is a move a lot of teams make. Give us your number 2. He's our number 1 now. Was there an example of that happening this year in free agency? I feel like the running back moves just haven't happened. Fournette stayed put. Chris Carson stayed put. James White stayed put. What running backs have moved teams? I'm trying to think. Aaron Jones stayed put. Jamal Williams went to Detroit. But that's not like a 1 or a 2 becoming. Well, I guess he was a 2 in Green Bay. He ain't going to be the 1 in Detroit, though. He's going to play the same role behind DeAndre Swift. Yeah, Tevin Coleman went to the Jets. That's got to be a good vote of confidence, right? Because he went to, obviously there's the connection. Robert Saleh, defensive coordinator in San Francisco, but opposite sides of the football. So does that carry maybe a little bit more weight? Maybe a little bit less bias? He's not an offensive coach bringing him in. He's a defensive coach who clearly must respect his game. Yeah, Lindsey. Where did Philip Lindsay go? Because I am a Philip Lindsay guy. Oh, yeah, the Texans. Oh, I don't know if that's going to work out just because Houston's a mess. So it's going to be like David Johnson, Philip Lindsay. I don't think they have Duke Johnson anymore. Poor Duke Johnson. Like, he's always just the number 2 guy. He's a free agent right now. He's always going to be a number 2 guy. Who else is on the Texans right now? I still think Lindsey's a really talented running back. I like him a lot. He's a lot smaller, and so you think, you know, he's limited. He's tough. Tough as nails. Home run hitter, too. Chiefs should have signed Philip Lindsay. Just saying. I think he would have been a nice complementary player when you consider who they already have. They have more between the tackles grinders. Mark Ingram really didn't get a lot of playing time. Well, he lost a lot of it. I think he might have been hurt for a little bit last year, but it was only a matter of time before Dobbins got the carries either way. And they'll play Gus Edwards at the goal line, and pretty sure they still have Justice Hill. Mark Ingram's with the Texans. I think I missed that. Mark Ingram, David Johnson, Philip Lindsay. That's a fantasy nightmare. Who is the Broncos starting running back? I don't know. Who does our lads think? Because they would still have, like, Royce Freeman. Oh, yeah, Melvin Gordon. I forgot they had him. Melvin Gordon. They also signed Mike Boone to replace Lindsey. I think they should have just kept Lindsey. Although I do like Mike Boone as well. Man, imagine going to that offense as a quarterback. Like, you got Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, KJ Hamler, and Tim Patrick at receiver. Noah Fant, Melvin Gordon. That's pretty solid. What do you guys think about Kenyon Drake going to the Raiders? Are they actually going to create this unique role for him? Because I think that they've said that they want him to play slot receiver. So it's like, all right, we drafted Lynn Bowden for this idea we made up in our heads. Then we trade Lynn Bowden, and now we're going to apply that idea to Kenyon Drake. Like, I think he could do it. I just don't know if they actually are, because I don't believe anything John Gruden says, really. Or anybody in that organization. We're going to throw the ball at Josh Jacobs 1 week. They're a team that's already gone back on every major free agent move they've made in the last 2 years. Drake and Josh backfield. Oh yeah, that's great. Just wanted to thank you for this series, Ken. You inspired me to create my own version of NBA 2K21 as an expansion team. Love your content. Appreciate that, Dewey. Hope you're enjoying that. I know in 2K you got access to a lot of features I don't in this game, unfortunately. Speaking of Lynn Bowden, you should trade for Lamyron Spellman. Oh yeah, that's right. Kenyon Drake and Josh Jacobs both went to Alabama. That's right. 2K isn't better right now. I've heard like a lot of negative things about 2K this year. Is it kind of rough? Did they try to do anything in their engine with the jump to next gen? Because Madden did, and I think a lot of the moves were positive. Let's sign a backup quarterback. Two options, all right? I think your two options here are either Marcus Mariota or Jimmy Garoppolo. Do you want to make sure there's mobility in the backup behind Jordan Love? Throw power, both weak. Mariota, short accuracy, better. I think we go Marcus Mariota. Who, by the way, I'm a little bit surprised took the pay cut to stay with the Raiders. I personally thought that he had a chance to get more on the open market than $3 million. No guarantee, but I think, like, Carr played better a year ago. I don't think there's much of a chance of Mariota becoming the Raiders starter unless Carr, like, significantly drops off his play, but I don't think that's going to happen. To me, what made the most sense was Mariota finally going to the Eagles like Chip Kelly wanted all along, and he has a one-on-one with Jalen Hurts, and they just compete for the job. Instead, the Eagles just signed Joe Flacco. And by the way, that's another move that I'm like, why there? I think Flacco should have gone to the Jaguars. Because with Trevor Lawrence, I think all you want to do is give him a backup with a decade of experience, whether they've played a lot or not. Chase Daniel, $40 million in his career now. He got a backup job with the Chargers. He doesn't have to play. He gets to not have to shovel any snow in Southern California. He's got $40 million in career earnings. Body probably hasn't taken a beating. Anyway, I think that the Jaguars, what was the right move there is to get a glorified quarterbacks coach for Trevor Lawrence. So I would have signed, you know, Joe Flacco, Alex Smith. They brought in CJ Beathard. And Beathard to me is like more of a backup for when you're a little bit concerned about who your starter is. You know, CJ Beathard would be a great backup for the Vikings. Because there's somebody you could say, all right, Kirk, you're playing terribly right now. We're going to play Beathard. You're never doing that with Sean Mannion. The Vikings don't have a backup to push Kirk Cousins. So, I don't know. It's not a huge deal. It just made sense to me that they would make, like, you know, Mahomes has Chad Henne. And the whole time there, I'm like, there's no way Chad Henne could step in to play. He hasn't played in 5 years or something. He's like 40. And then he fills in that division playoff game and played really well. Was it division round? I think it was. Yeah, because they played the Bills in the title game. Henne could play. So I think a Matt Schaub, Chad Henne, Chase Daniel. Maybe somebody who actually played a lot of snaps, like Joe Flacco or Alex Smith, would make sense. What do you think of Nate Stanley? I mean, just project quarterback. Maybe develops into a future backup, though. That sticks around for a while. It's getting close to Super Mega Baseball time, Kevin. And actually, they just put an update out. They're now tracking career stats in Super Mega Baseball. Now, it's not going to be for seasons you've already completed. But they're still adding features to that game. Definitely want to play that again soon. Devian Spearman. $55 overall. Let's go 61 here. Probably practice squad quarterback, Elliot Dishman. I like Nick Mullins. I think he's one of the best backup quarterbacks in the league. What's your plan for James Golden? He's just kind of depth. There's no real role for him on the offense right now. I wish these run block ratings were better. Might get signed off our practice squad, but we'll bring in Shelton Crawford. Maybe Steve Atkins as well. This is how I go through undrafteds. I'm always sorting by ratings that I think are important. I'm like, all right, this guy's the best. Let's see what he can do. 60 catching, 75 speed. Salim Murphy. Not a rookie, by the way. He's actually in his second year. $60 run block. Probably just stick with who we have. He wouldn't be a bad backup. I'm not going to sign him because he's not a rookie. We already have comparable players who are younger. He wouldn't be on the practice squad. He'd have one more year of practice squad eligibility. That's it. What about at corner? What about like press? 73, 6'3", 93 speed. Sign me up. Leo McLean. And now give me a corner with high catching, not high enough, high tackling. 62, Darius Jackson. Why not? 83 speed at safety is pretty low these days. Oh, we have a 71-man roster now, so I've made plenty of moves, and I think that that was a successful offseason, everybody. I'm excited to see this team come together this year, and I think that we're going to have a chance to be a lot better. Offensive line got better. Running game should definitely make improvements. We added some skill players. And then defensively, we got a couple players here with hidden development. I think Tyson's a day one starter. Hillhouse probably just a role player in year one. But I'm excited to see what he can do. And then, of course, Allen Beverly. What can we get out of him? We drafted him number 2, so hopefully it's a lot. And I plan to probably keep him a focus player, too, to make up for not having hidden development, at least. What happened to Reiner? Yeah, why isn't his picture showing up there? Weird. Alright, I'll have some stuff to do here off recording with editing numbers and everything. But that's the off season, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. That was a very fun stream. It was also one of my biggest off seasons I've done, and I knew it would be with all those picks and all the options for this off season. So I want to thank you all for your support today. It was a lot of fun. Appreciate all the super chats and all the comments. Everything here. Love going back and forth with all of you for these 4 hours. That is all for today, everybody. I don't have any more content done yet, but I'll be working on the edited version of this and some other stuff here over the next couple days. So appreciate your time, everybody. Have a great weekend, and I shall see you in the next one. Have a good day, everybody.